We're shifting focus now, though, to some grim news coming in. SP Patriarch and Chief of the Samajwadi Party, Mulayam Singh Yadav, has passed away at the age of 82. He was admitted to the Medanta hospital here in Gurugram. Since the 22nd of August, since the 1st of this month, he was in ICU and on life-saving drugs, but unfortunately he has lost the battle with life at the age of 82. Maria Shakil, my colleague, now joining me for more on this. Some grim news coming in, Maria, on this Monday morning.
Yes, and Samajwadi Party official Twitter handle has put out, quoting Akhilesh Yadav, in which he is saying, "Mere adarniye pitaji aur sabke netaji nahi rahe." Akhilesh Yadav himself is at Medanta with his wife. Other members of the family are very much present as Mulayam Singh Yadav breathed his last just a few moments ago. Over the last few days, we have seen a beeline of top politicians of the country. All of them have worked with Mulayam Singh Yadav at one stage or the other. Mulayam Singh Yadav has had a long political career of, over 50 to 60 years, I can fairly say that. Someone who was seen as the face of the Samajwadi Party politics. He has been the founder of Samajwadi Party, and now, he passed on the mantle to his son Akhilesh Yadav only 6 to 7 years ago, but the transition was very smooth. What is it that Mulayam Singh Yadav really stood for? Mulayam Singh Yadav, Lalu Yadav, all of them have been part of the JP movement. They were part of the Jayaprakash Narayan movement and were the face of Samajwad politics. That Samajwad politics, which believed in socialism, which believed in a completely different politics, which was there before the 70s. So in 1977-75 is when Mulayam Singh Yadav started, that was part of that entire movement, the student movement, and then we saw him, as the face of Uttar Pradesh in many ways. He served as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh on 2 occasions in the past as well. And he also served as the Defense Minister of the country. He has had a long political career, which expanded over several decades. And now what we are being told that Mulayam Singh Yadav breathed his last. And the information is being put out by his son Akhilesh Yadav, who has put out a tweet saying, "Mere adarniye pitaji ab nahi rahe." So, overall, we can expect a lot of political reactions come in because Mulayam Singh Yadav was also seen as a weather-vane politician, someone who understood the direction in which the politics was going. And he has been a member of parliament, even in the current Lok Sabha. He was an MP as well. He came from Saifai, was 82 years old, has served as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh for 3 non-consecutive terms, though he was also the Minister of Defense in the government of India, party patron of Samajwadi Party, worked very closely with a number of governments at the center. And that is the reason why he had cross-party acceptability, was seen as very shrewd politician, was seen as someone who could really read the wind, understand politics and its direction in which it was going. The last few years in politics has been pretty turbulent because of what was happening within his own family. But before 2017, he had more or less settled the entire family dispute. We can expect all the brothers of Mulayam Singh Yadav and an entire family to arrive in Medanta any moment. His son, Akhilesh, the daughter-in-law, and other members of the family were there when he breathed his last. So, when we look at those visuals, it only showcases that this is an end of an era.
Right, to stay on with me, Pranchu, my colleague, also joins us for more on this, and it definitely is end of an era, Pranchu, isn't it? The void that Mulayam Singh Yadav leaves behind is going to be felt not just by the Samajwadi Party, but by a generation of political leaders cutting across political party lines.
Oh yes, that's right. In fact, what a illustrious political career. More than 5 decades, more than 50 years of public and social life. And as you rightly said, that he was not just Mulayam Singh, he was not just Netaji for the Samajwadi Party. As Maria was saying, he commanded respect from across political spectrums. So I think he was the last leader who was recognized and referred as Netaji by even the political opponents. And having covered Mulayam Singh for past more than at least 2 decades as a journalist myself, I have seen various moments, that has gone down in history, and whenever Mulayam Singh will be remembered, he would be remembered for the sort of relationship which he had even with the biggest of political rivals. I remember 19th March 2017, the moment where that was Samajwadi Party's moment of biggest defeat, Akhilesh Yadav being routed here, Yogi Adityanath taking in oath as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, and then Mulayam Singh whispers something in the ears of Prime Minister Modi that leaves Modi out bursting in a laughter. Till this date, we don't know what Mulayam Singh said. Only, Mulayam Singh knew what he said, and probably Prime Minister Modi knows what was said by Mulayam Singh. But that itself has shown that what sort of respect Mulayam Singh commands. Then remember 2019 February when Mulayam Singh on the floor of Lok Sabha wished Narendra Modi a second consecutive term as Prime Minister, and again that has created a lot of furor. But Prime Minister, you remember Mulayam Singh said that it's just a social courtesy, and I never forget the courtesy in politics. So he was, I think, the last leader who recalled the importance of what courtesy in politics is. Remember how he had endorsed, he has dished once Mamta Banerjee when she was pitching in for a different person as the president, and then Mulayam Singh has warmed up to Sonia Gandhi and endorsed Pranab Mukherjee as the presidential candidate in 2014. So Mulayam Singh, known as Dharti Putra because he was clearly the man of soil, coming in from a poor agrarian family, rising up to be the member of UP Vidhan Sabha at the young age of 28 in 1967, and then from there on several consecutive terms as the member of Legislative Assembly, then as Maria said, several terms member of Parliament, Defence Minister, 3 terms UP's Chief Minister, someone who commanded respect with everyone. And a very fascinating aspect which I remember is that he was the first person who has ensured that rival Kashiram, the founder of BSP, goes to Parliament in 1991. And I think that was his first attempt to actually forge the relationship between the Dalits and the backwards, the downtrodden. And then finally that experiment was repeated again in 2019 when Mayawati and Akhilesh Yadav came together. So clearly, Netaji of Indian politics has passed away. Dharti Putra of the Indian politics has passed away, and before he has passed away, he has also ensured that party is now successfully under the leadership of his son. So in the last stage, post 2016 and 2017, as a journalist, it was a question for all of us, including me, including Maria and everyone, that whether all that feud which was happening within the Samajwadi Party, Shipal Yadav walking out, seniors rebelling, Akhilesh Yadav, whether it was actually with the consent of Mulayam Singh or it was with sheer disregard of Mulayam Singh. Till this date, we don't have answers to it. So that was Mulayam Singh's politics. That was Mulayam Singh's style. Listening to too much, saying very less, and whenever required, playing that famous charkha of ditching the opposition in politics. So clearly a big loss for Samajwadi Party, and also I'll say a leader of a last sort of leaders as far as the traditional style of politician having passed away.
Absolutely. And Maria, he was a politician through and through. At 28, if I'm not mistaken, is when he won his first election, a young Mulayam Singh Yadav. And till his last breath, till his ill health took over, unfortunately, him. Until then, he was playing an active role in politics of Uttar Pradesh in the Samajwadi Party.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and he ensured that all his brothers got into politics. His nephews are politicians. So, he has this entire family tree, which is all full of politicians. And he ensured that the family stays united. The rebellion, of course, we saw in 2017, as Pranchu was pointing out rightly, that all of us who covered it in 2016, 2017 were left wondering whether Shipal Yadav's rebellion was something that Mulayam Singh Yadav himself engineered, because he was quintessential Netaji in the sense that he got that name, which in Hindi means respected leader. By party workers and leaders, and everybody used to refer to him as not Mulayam Singh Yadav but as Netaji. So for Mulayam Singh Yadav to have his son to not have that entire power transition smooth was also sending a message that my son perhaps has earned the position as the Samajwadi Party chief, and as far as the brothership Pal is concerned, he has fought well as well. So he was never seen to be taking sides. And at the same time, as far as cross-party acceptability is concerned, that point that was made by Pranchu is quintessential Mulayam Singh Yadav when he actually ensured Kashi Ram, his political opponent, an arch rival of Bahujan Samaj Party, to enter the parliament, because he wanted to send that message that the real discussion and debate can happen in Parliament. And in order to have that conversations in Parliament, he ensured that as well. So long political tenure, expanding several decades, and that is the reason why he will be remembered as a politician who was not a weather vane, who could read the direction of the wind, yes, but at the same time he worked his way up. And also, let's not forget that Samajwadi Party was founded only in 1992. Before that, it was the larger Janata Party, of which Mulayam Singh Yadav was the face in Uttar Pradesh and Lalu Nitish were the face in the state of Bihar. These were the politicians who made Hindi belt politics relevant. Mulayam Singh Yadav, Lalu Yadav, these were the Hindi belt politicians who may not be relevant in the current times because the politics has changed, but because of what they stood for, what they changed in Indian politics, they will be remembered for their contribution in politics. Let's also rewind a little for our viewers. Mulayam Singh Yadav first became Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh in 1989. And after the collapse of VP Singh national government, which was in late 1990, Mulayam Singh Yadav had joined Chandrasekhar's Janata Dal party, and then he continued in office as the chief minister with the support of the Congress party. Then in 1992 was only when he founded Samajwadi Party, and in 1993 he also formed an alliance with BSP for the elections that took place in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So he has had 3 terms as the Uttar Pradesh chief minister, but of course that was not consecutive terms. Also in the Lok Sabha, he played an important role at the centre. He contested the 2004 Lok Sabha elections from Mainpuri while continuing as the chief minister, while he was still the chief minister. And after he won the seat, and his Samajwadi Party won more seats in Uttar Pradesh than any other party. So he tried to do that balancing act between the centre and the state, and that will be something that will be Mulayam Singh Yadav, political maneuvering that politicians are often remembered for. And so, condolence messages have started pouring in. Over the last 48 to 72 hours, we have seen calls being made to Akhilesh Yadav, from Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, visiting Medanta Hospital where Mulayam Singh Yadav was getting treatment. And so finally he lost his battle, a long, prolonged battle. His illness was for several years now. And now news coming in this morning that the patriarch of Samajwadi Party, known as Netaji, as Akhilesh Yadav says, that Janata ke Netaji has passed away.
Right, it's an end of an era as far as politics of Uttar Pradesh is concerned. Maria and Francho also is with me, and Francho would recollect the moments that you've perhaps witnessed on your journey as a journalist as far as Samajwadi Party is concerned, and some of those moments surprised political observers, surprised people within his own party as well. The softer moments that he had with other politicians that were from the opposition, perhaps.
Oh, yes, that's right. In fact, covering Mulayam Singh as the chief minister here in Uttar Pradesh during the period from 2003 to 2007 onwards, those experience, how accessible Mulayam Singh was as compared to the chief ministers and politicians of the day, how open the chief minister's residence at that point in time was, and how easy it was, to get close to the chief minister and have a communication with him. And I clearly remember on one occasion when this, feud within the Samajwadi Party was going on, I did ask Mulayam Singh that, how come you manage such a big Samajwadi Party, the party which has leaders of different shades? And he said, and he made a relation to a Hindu mythology where you say that it's a Shankarji ki Barat. So he said that my party is like Shankarji's Barat is like a marriage procession of Lord Shiva, and therefore different heads have different sort of attitudes, and it becomes so difficult to manage them. But that is how I do manage them. He also said that my style is to speak less, listen more, and never to lose patience, and that is how I run the Samajwadi Party, and that is how you need to run the Samajwadi Party. Now, as Maria was pointing out, Mulayam Singh's career, clearly I see it as a two distinct aspects of Mulayam Singh's career. One aspect from 1967 when he first became the member of UP Assembly on the ticket of Sanyukt Socialist Party, that is a party by the socialist leaders. And from that point in time to 1989 when he first became the chief minister as the leader of Janata Dal. And then you remember it was a period when Mulayam Singh suddenly becomes Maulana Mulayam. So if you talk about high points in Mulayam Singh's career, I think the first major high point was 30th October 1990 when he as a chief minister ordered firing on the car sevaks in Ayodhya who are, have given a call of doing a car seva. And then if you remember, Mulayam Singh has historically called that Parinda bhi Ayodhya mein par nahi maar payega. And that was the statement that endeared Mulayam Singh to the Muslims. And from there on, the Yadavs and the Muslims became a very formidable force or the base for the Samajwadi Party. But that was also a moment when a section of Hindus started referring to Mulayam Singh as Maulana Mulayam. And that is what, the tag which has often gone with Mulayam Singh's detractors. Even today, he's often called Maulana Mulayam. So I think that was the one big high moment. Then the second big high moment of his political journey came in 1992, October 1992, 4th October 1992, when he held a 3-day convention here in Lucknow. And Samajwadi Party was formed after he has walked down out of the Janata Dal. And that Sammelan was the moment when leaders like Janeshwar Mishra, Azam Khan and Revti Raman Singh unanimously called him as Netaji or the supreme leader among them. And that was the moment when Netaji's incarnation happened. And from then on, it was, several moments. I think July 1995 when that infamous state guest house episode happened when Mayawati was assaulted here at the state guest house by the Samajwadi Party goons. And that was another high moment. And then from there on, the journey continued for Mulayam Singh. Of course, several controversies also crept in. If you remember, journalists who have covered the period of 2004 to 2007, they also recall about the infamous influence of leaders like Amar Singh on Samajwadi Party, and a lot was talked about the moral decay which has set in the Samajwadi Party movement. We also remember how Mulayam Singh has once made a very controversial remark which has sought a lot of protests coming in from the women in general when he has said, "Ladke to ladke hote hain, unse galtiyan ho jati hain." So as a leader, Mulayam Singh was the one who sometimes did cross the red line, the Lakshman Rekha, but often, was also known for his unique ways in politics. So I think Mulayam Singh's career as a politician was of someone who was tampered, whose steel was tampered through constant struggle on the ground, who had this very uncanny resolve to survive amidst highs and lows of the politics. And he was, of course, known for his charkha down. We all know that he was a professional wrestler, and charkha down is a surprise move in wrestling whereby you surprise your opponents. And even in politics, he has shown that surprise to many, from Congress to Trinamool Congress to the other political parties. So I think Mulayam Singh's journey would be remembered as a leader who had this indomitable spirit to survive in politics, rise out of the odds, build a party which has survived the test for more than 30 years. In fact, October this year, the Samajwadi Party completes 30 years in existence. And for Mulayam Singh, who started his career as an MLA in 1967, he has been continuously holding an office either as a member of Legislative Assembly or the Chief Minister or the Member of Parliament. And the moment when he has breathed his last, he was still the Member of Parliament from Manpuri.
Right, he still was a member of parliament. And Maria, we are seeing condolences pour in from across political party lines. Omar Abdullah has just taken to Twitter. Several ministers also now taking to Twitter to offer their condolences, offer their support to Akhilesh Yadav and the family in this time of grief. Maria?
That's right. And Mulayam Singh Yadav, as Pranshu and I have been saying, enjoyed that cross-party acceptability. When we look at those visuals of, Yogi Adityanath, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, visiting him, that was perhaps their last meeting. Mulayam Singh Yadav was at his home in Lucknow. Shipal Yadav can be seen as well. And UP Chief Minister had visited him because Mulayam Singh Yadav was ailing then and had spent some time with Netaji. Giving a book to him and also exchanging some greetings. Mulayam Singh Yadav, will not be only remembered as a veteran politician, but someone who, could manage treacherous allies. He was someone who experienced coalition government. And perhaps that he learned because he was mentored by stalwarts like Ram Manohar Lohia. His own rise to politics started when he became the Defense Minister of India in 1996 in the United Front government. So when it was about the United Front government or forming an alliance with BSP, which later turned out to be the arch rival of the Samajwadi Party, and went on to define Uttar Pradesh politics as which made almost the UP politics bipolar for 2 decades. Mulayam Singh Yadav had given that example that you can form alliances with your arch rivals only because of some political compulsions, as he had put out. He had settled the transition, the power transition or succession debate within the Samajwadi Party long before. Akhilesh Yadav became the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh in 2012 when Mulayam Singh Yadav had chosen to step back. And that entire power transition played out on the streets of Lucknow when there was a protest by Shivpal Yadav as well. So having said that, his entire family may have been a divided house into 2 groups, but it remains in many ways more so even today. But to a great extent, Mulayam Singh Yadav ensured that Samajwadi Party will be associated with his son Akhilesh Yadav. He served as the Union Defense Minister under the United Front government from 1996 to 1998. After that, he was elected to the Lok Sabha for the first time in 1997, as Pranshu was pointing out. And currently, he was a member of the parliament from the Azamgarh Lok Sabha constituency. So besides being Chief Minister for 3 non-consecutive terms, he was also a member of parliament. So that experience of state politics and also of central politics, the Delhi politics, was something that Mulayam Singh Yadav's long political career, which has been checkered with multiple highs, multiple lows, and multiple controversies, will be remembered. So we are waiting for messages to come in from various quarters, but what we are being told by sources in the Samajwadi Party is that the mortal remains of Netaji will be taken to his family home of Saifai, where the cremations and the last rites will happen. So perhaps in the next 1 hour or 2, the entire movement to Saifai will begin.
Absolutely. And before I get back, Pranshu, I just want to draw attention to the condolences that are pouring in, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also has just taken to Twitter. He's tweeted out some pictures of him and Mulayam Singh Yadav in happier times. He says, Mulayam Singh Yadav ji, a distinguished leader himself in UP and national politics. He was a key soldier for democracy during the emergency. As the defense minister, he worked for a stronger India. His parliamentary interventions were insightful and emphasized on furthering national interest. That's the tweet that has come to the fore from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where he also goes on to talk about what a remarkable personality Mulayam Singh Yadav was. And Pranshu, that really is what we've been talking about, not just the politician that Mulayam Singh Yadav was, but the person that he was as well, a humble, grounded leader. His personality is something that appealed to many others, irrespective of political ideologies.
Yes, that's right. In fact, Mulayam Singh was so dear to the party Karkarta, and I think the reason being that Mulayam Singh was in habit of knowing and meeting out and reaching to even the simplest of Karkartas. Now, there are various stories which give you a glimpse of how well connected Mulayam Singh was. There's this very famous story from Manpuri that where Mulayam Singh's chopper lifted and he suddenly sees that there is a tent and some sort of arrangements going on there, going on down there in a particular village, and he identifies that this is this worker's home. So what has happened? It might be either a cause of happiness or a cause of sorrow that the tent has been brought in, and he forces the chopper to land down. So these were the Mulayam Singh strategies. We have often reported over the period of past 6 or 7 years when
Sorry
Mulayam
to
Singh has
interrupt you
not
there.
been
Farooq Abdullah is with me of the National Conference. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. Unfortunate circumstances we are speaking in, Mr. Abdullah.
Very sad news of my friend, associate Mulayam Singh Yadav's death today. He has been a great leader of this nation, a pillar of strength for people who had no one to speak for, a man who stood for everyone, a man who had no enemies, all friends, and he made sure that he kept up with everyone. And sitting next to me in the parliament, I used to have many debates with him on many issues. And he was very clear in his mind about things. And I think the nation will miss him because he was the humblest man I have known, having risen to such heights. He was humble. He used to meet everyone with love and affection and listen to them and try and see how best he could relieve them of their problems. Today, that light has gone. Very sad. It's extremely sad.
Mr. Abdullah, I understand how difficult this must be for you, but if you could just take us through perhaps some of the moments that you shared with him in Parliament as well, your experiences with Netaji, because it's not just the politician that we're celebrating, it's also the person that Mulayam Singh Yadav was that we are celebrating today.
As I said, he was a man you couldn't describe. He was so humble, you know, having all the positions, even as defense minister. And I remember when in '96 he was being tipped for the prime ministership, how humble he was. And when the Yadavs did not agree and we had to choose Gujral Sahib, how he stood by Gujral and how he stood for the unity from north to south and east to west, and always spoke for the good. Never had any thought that this fellow is like this. If somebody was wrong, he used to say.
Farooq Abdullah, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Condolences are pouring in for Mulayam Singh Yadav, the SP Supremo, the patriarch of the Samajwadi Party, Netaji for not just the party but for many in the state of Uttar Pradesh, a man who rose from the ground, a son of the soil in its real terms, someone who entered politics as a young man, was active in politics, was active in Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh political scene until illness took over him just a few weeks ago. And Prancho continues to be with me. And Prancho, we've just heard one of his colleagues, a dear friend, also recall the kind of humble-natured man that Mulayam Singh Yadav really was. And that's perhaps how everyone is going to remember him now.
Yes, that's right. In fact, Farooq Abdullah makes a very interesting observation. I think Mulayam Singh was the only politician surviving who had very, equally good connect with, say, late Harshan Singh Surjit, the CPIM General Secretary, and also someone within the Sangh Parivar. He also had very good relations with Rajnath Singh, with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and even the incumbent Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and we have seen the proof of that relationship between the two. But at the same time, he also has equally good relationship, with someone like Sitaram Yechuri or Prakash Karat. So how this man, bridged the divide between the ideological gap between left and right, that is amazing. The way, he has often been soft towards like of Sonia Gandhi, but he has also been equally soft towards the left. And the another important point that, despite all those observations and all those speculations that whether Mulayam has always been soft towards the Bharatiya Janata Party or not, in practical terms, the Samajwadi Party over the period of past 30 years has never been into any understanding or alliance with the Bharatiya Janata Party. That has not been the case with likes of the Bahujan Samaj Party, who often criticize the Bharatiya Janata Party. So I think when it comes to the personality relations, personal relations, Mulayam of course believed in having personal relations cutting across the ideological divide. But when it comes to pure politics, I think he very much knew that what his clear politics is, and that's the reason he might be have that capacity or comradeship to just whisper something in ears of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He might be having that comradeship of wishing Prime Minister Modi a second consecutive term. But that, that comradeship didn't actually affect his, his minority supporters on the ground. And no one ever doubted that Samajwadi Party could actually be doing something political sharing in terms with the Bharatiya Janata Party. So what Mulayam Singh did on personal level was on personal level. What Mulayam Singh did on political level was actually on political level. And I think he was the last of those surviving breed of leaders who had an equally good connect with all. As I said, he was very good friend with the likes of late Harshan Singh Surjit. But during his lifetime, he was also very close to likes of Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Had nothing to do with the kind of relationship that Mulayam Singh Yadav shared with politicians from across the board, across the spectrum, and which is why we're seeing condolences pour in from across the spectrum as well. D. Raja of the CPI also now reacting, offering his condolences.
It's very sad to know the news about the demise of Sri Mulayam Singh Yadav. A few days back, I had been to Medanta hospital in Gurugram. I spoke to Mr. Akhilesh, Mr. Shivpal. I left the hospital with the hope that he would recover well and come out. Now this is very sad news. He is one of the senior political leaders of the country. I had personal relationship with him at the time of the formation of United Front and United Front government. I worked with him very closely, interacted with him very closely. He was one of the very affectionate leaders I found. Whenever he saw me in Parliament or outside, he used to put his hand on my shoulders and speak to me with a great amount of affection. This is personal, but at public life, political life, he was a champion of the cause of the backward class people and poor people in the state of Uttar Pradesh as well as everywhere. And really, it's a great loss for Samajwadi Party. I hope Mr. Akhilesh will overcome this tragedy and he will move forward with commitment which his father had. On behalf of the Communist Party of India, my party, I pay my solemn homage to Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav and I give my
किया गया है, तो इस वजह से कुछ सेंट्रल फोर्स डिप्लॉयमेंट की मांग कर रहा है सुकांत मजुमदार और शुभेंदु अधिकारी दोनों ने।
इसको कोई इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है। अगर
Condolences there pouring in for Mulayam Singh Yadav in this moment of grief. Support pouring in for the family as well, for Akhilesh Yadav too. Dinesh Sharma, former Deputy Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, also now with us on this broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking with us. It is rather unfortunate circumstances that we are speaking in. लेकिन नेताजी एक नेता ही नहीं थे, एक समाजवादी पार्टी के नेता नहीं थे, वो जो हम्बल इंसान थे, एन ऑर्डिनरी मैन डूइंग एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी थिंग्स. दैट्स रियली हाउ पीपल आर डिस्क्राइबिंग हिम एज.
निश्चित रूप से नेताजी संबंधों का निर्वहन करना जानते थे और मुझे याद आ रहा है कि मैं महापौर रहते हुए मेरा विवाह हुआ था 2010 में और मैंने कार्ड नहीं छपाए थे, किसी को कार्ड से आमंत्रण नहीं दिया था. नेताजी दिल्ली में थे और उन्होंने बगैर किसी पीए के सीधे मुझे फोन किया और फोन करके बोला कि महापौर जी, आपका मतदाता नहीं हूं तो क्या आप मुझे विवाह में नहीं बुलाएंगे? मैं दिल्ली में हूं और मैं जबरदस्ती आपके विवाह में आ रहा हूं. मैंने कहा ऐसा बात नहीं है, जो भी मेरा शुभचिंतक है वो आ ही रहा है. मैंने समझा झूठ बात होगी, लेकिन 6:15 साढ़े 6 के आसपास वो मेरे विवाह स्थल पर पहुंच गए और रात को 11 साढ़े 11 बजे तक का वो वहां पर रहे और लोगों को अगवानी करना, मिलना. लोग ताजुब कर रहे थे कि विपक्ष का व्यक्ति है और शायद श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर आंदोलन में हमने तमाम पुतलों के दहन भी किए थे. इस बारे में वो बेहतर जानते भी थे, लेकिन वो एक स्नेह भाव से राजनीतिक प्रतिद्वंदता और विदेश को भूलकर जिस प्रकार से मेरे वहां पे रहे थे, लोगों को बड़ा आश्चर्य हो रहा था कि प्रतित्व भाव में वो लोगों की अगवानी स्वयं कर रहे थे और उन्होंने अपने दल के तमाम लोगों को भी फोन करके उसी विवाह स्थल पर बुला लिया था कि आओ और मेयर सबका होता है, उसको आशीर्वाद दो. तो मैं समझता हूँ उनका बड़प्पन था. कई मायनों में कई संदर्भ पर जब मिलते थे तो उनसे पुराने संस्मरण और पुराने नेताओं के बारे में तमाम बातें सुनने और सीखने का अवसर मिलता था. और मैं जानता हूं कि उनमें विदेश की भावना नहीं रहती थी. एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर के तौर पे तो वो काम करते थे, लेकिन जो काम करते थे उसकी परिणति भी वो जानना चाहते थे. तो मैं यही कहूंगा कि एक बहुत बड़ी क्षति है राजनीति में शुचिता, पारदर्शिता रखने वालों की और संबंधों का निर्वहन करने वाले लोगों का अभाव सा होता जा रहा है. ऐसे समय नेताजी बहुत याद आएंगे. मेरी उनको विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि. ईश्वर उनको सदगति प्रदान करे.
दिनेश शर्मा जी, धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए हियर ऑन CNN News 18. Condolences are there pouring in. The president of the country has also taken to Twitter and spoken of what an extraordinary man Mulayam Singh Yadav was, and that's really how he is going to be remembered by every single one, because it's a void that he leaves not just in Uttar Pradesh and in the politics of Uttar Pradesh and of Samajwadi Party, but cutting across political party lines, which is why we're seeing condolences pour in from the BJP, from the Congress Party, from across the political spectrum, so to say. Senior journalist now also joining us, Mr. Sahai, on this broadcast, and just to put in perspective of what really, what this loss means, not just for the politics of Uttar Pradesh and for the people of Samajwadi Party, for the Karyakartas of Samajwadi Party, but for the politics of the whole country.
Yes, it's a great loss, no doubts about it. You see, by sheer dint of hard work, politically speaking, Mulayam Singh Yadav had made himself synonymous with Uttar Pradesh. You take the name of Uttar Pradesh and one politician that comes to mind is Mulayam Singh Yadav. You see, and it's all because of his. He was a product of, long drawn out struggle against the Congress. He struggled for years on foot, on cycle, on jeep, on tractors. He fought Congress like this. And you see, his biggest asset was that he endeared himself to all the small workers of the party. He built this Samajwadi Party brick by brick. You see, Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav are two individuals, but they vastly differ. And I think, in my view, Akhilesh Yadav doesn't come near to Mulayam Singh Yadav as far as PR is concerned, as far as charisma is concerned. There is a saying in Lucknow, जिसका जलवा कायम है, उसका नाम मुलायम है. And that Mulayam has gone now. Yes.
And it's a void that is being felt across political party lines, isn't it, Mr. Sahai? Because we've seen condolences pour in from across political party lines, and everyone has to speak of some memory that they have shared with Mulayam Singh Yadav of how he was a humble man. It didn't matter what your political ideologies were. He was very, very grounded. He knew about his humble beginnings, but that did not stop him from rising up the ladder. That did not stop him from donning the many hats that he did as an MLA, as the leader of a party, as a minister at the state level, as the chief minister, even as a defense minister.
Correct. You see, few people know that till his last breath, he continued to be extremely close to the Prime Minister of this country, political differences apart. He shared a bond and personal bond with almost all tall politicians of this country, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That was Mulayam Singh Yadav. You see, young budding politicians, including his son, will have to learn a lot from Mulayam Singh Yadav. Yes.
And we are hearing condolences pour in from across all political quarters. I request you, Mr. Sahai, to stay on with me, because we do know that the mortal remains will be taken to Lucknow first. Saifai, which is the hometown of the Yadavs, of the Yadav Parivar, is where the last rites will be conducted. For now, the grieving family, of course, is still at the Medanta hospital here in Gurugram, where Mulayam Singh Yadav was admitted in the ICU from the 1st of October. Unfortunately, he was battling with life. He was on life-saving drugs for the last 10 days or so. And unfortunately, this morning, he lost that battle with life. And Mr. Sahai, that really goes on to show the fighting spirit, one would say, of Mulayam Singh Yadav. He never gave up, no matter what the crisis was, no matter who the adversary was, he fought on. And that really goes on to speak of how he led the last few days of his life as well. From the 22nd of August, he was admitted to the hospital, but he kept fighting on till the last breath.
You are right. You are on the dot. He was a great fighter, more so in adversity. You see, he wouldn't mind walking miles and miles on foot to address a public meeting in the bad lands of, Etawah and around. Etawah bordering, you see, what we know as Chambal. In the past, it was a very rough terrain, politically as well. And Mulayam Singh Yadav grew from there. And he learned how to survive through struggle. He knew it for certain that fighting is the only thing that will help you survive. And he learned it very well. He learned all the lessons in the vicinity of Itawa. And he came to Lucknow, ruled here. See, even when he was opposition, he remained relevant.
Absolutely, he remained relevant, and I would just like to get in a word from a Samajwadi Party leader as well. Swami Prasad Maurya is now joining us on this broadcast. धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए. It's really unfortunate circumstances that we are speaking in. लेकिन आपकी क्या मेमोरीज रही हैं नेताजी के साथ? नेताजी जो पॉलिटिशियन थे उनके बारे में तो बात हो ही रही है, लेकिन नेताजी जो इंसान थे उसके बारे में भी आज काफी चर्चा हो रही है. वो याद रहेगा लोगों के मन में?
स्वाभाविक रूप से नेताजी श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव जी एक ऐसा राजनीति का नाम है जो संघर्षों से निकल के आया है, गरीबों के लिए जिया है, दलितों और पिछड़ों के लिए जिया है, साथ ही साथ समाजवाद आंदोलन के एक ऐसे पुरोधा रहे हैं जिन्होंने निरंतर एक गरीब घर से निकल करके संघर्षों के बलबूते पर राजनीति के ऊंचाइयों पर पहुंचे हैं. 3 बार उत्तर प्रदेश जैसे बड़े प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री रहे, केंद्र में रक्षा मंत्री रहे, और यही नहीं, उन्होंने चौधरी चरण सिंह जी के साथ भी किसानों की लड़ाई लड़ी है. तो वहीं पर डॉक्टर राम मनोहर लोहिया के साथ में समाजवादी आंदोलन के भी एक अग्रणी नेता रहे हैं. तो स्वाभाविक रूप से हमारी राजनीति की शुरुआत ही लोकदल से हुई थी. जब श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव जी प्रदेश अध्यक्ष थे तो उनके साथ भी मुझे उनके साथ प्रदेश महामंत्री बनने का मौका मिला था. वैसे उसके पहले मैं युवा लोकदल की राजनीति से शुरुआत किया था. नेताजी के संरक्षण में लगातार मैं लंबे अरसे तक राजनीति भी किया हूँ. यहाँ तक कि कभी कभी हमें नेताजी के विरोध में भी, विपक्ष में भी की भूमिका भी निभानी पड़ी. लेकिन स्वाभाविक रूप से नेताजी का जो एक राजनीति में कार्यकर्ताओं को पहचानने, कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए अंतिम हद तक सहयोग करने की भावना रखते हुए किस तरीके से कार्यकर्ताओं का मनोबल ऊंचा उठाते थे, उसी क्रम में मैं अवगत कराना चाहूंगा. एक बार मैं लाठी चार्ज हुआ था, मैं अस्पताल में भर्ती था. अखबार की खबर पढ़ करके नेताजी श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव जी रायबरेली जिला अस्पताल में पहुंचे थे हमें देखने के लिए, हालचाल लेने के लिए. तो स्वाभाविक रूप से वो कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए जी जान से उसके साथ खड़े होते थे, सुख हो दुख हो हर क्षण में साथ रहते थे. तो स्वाभाविक रूप से आज करोड़ों लोगों के मन मस्तिष्क पर नेताजी श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव जी का नाम है, काम है, विचार है, संघर्ष है. ऐसे संघर्ष महापुरुष श्री नेताजी मुलायम सिंह यादव जी को उनके इस अंतिम बेला पर मैं कोशिश नमन करता हूँ, वंदन करता हूँ, और साथ ही साथ उनको भावभीनी श्रद्धांजलि भी देता हूँ.
स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य जी, धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए. राज बब्बर of the Congress also with me on this broadcast, and unfortunate circumstances we are speaking in, Mr. Babbar, but if you could share some of your memories that you had of Netaji.
It's sad to hear this कि मुलायम सिंह जी नहीं रहे. मेरी उनके साथ में कुर्बत सिर्फ नेता के रूप में तो थी, लेकिन जब पहली बार वो जो कुश्ती जीत कर आए थे मथुरा से, तब भी हम नया डेलीगेट बना था. मेरा ख्याल से मैं 9th में पढ़ता था. उस वक्त इनका स्वागत करने के लिए हम आगरा में थे, because he was going to Itawa. After that, I worked also with him. I found he is not only कि एक व्यक्ति को बोलते थे यार मुलायम सिंह जी पहलवान है. वो पहलवान नहीं बल्कि एक मजबूत सोच का इंसान था. इसकी जहनियत बहुत मजबूत थी और उसने उस अपनी मजबूत जहनियत की वजह से कई लोगों को इंस्पायर किया. सच माने में वो नेताजी थे, क्योंकि उन्होंने सिर्फ एक व्यक्ति के बारे में नहीं सोचा और कभी किसी का अपमान करने की कोशिश नहीं की. मेरी खुशनसीबी है कि मैंने ऐसे आदमी के साथ में, ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ में काम किया. मैं कभी इलेक्ट्रल पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं आना चाहता था, लेकिन ही इंस्पायर्ड मी एंड ही आस्क्ड मी कि प्लीज कम, और उन्होंने मुझे बुलाकर राज्यसभा दी। कभी कभी कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं, लेकिन उनका देना और मुझे भी कमिटेड होना। आज मैं उनसे मिलने के लिए गया था, मुझे उम्मीद थी, अभी मैं देखने गया था हॉस्पिटल में उनको, मुझे उम्मीद थी कि शायद वो स्टेबल थे, वो निकल आएंगे, क्योंकि बहुत ही जहनियत के साथ साथ बहुत ही मजबूत लड़ने वाला इंसान था। लेकिन विधाता ने उनको हरा दिया और हमसे हमारा नेताजी छीन लिया। बस यही दुआ करूंगा कि उनकी आत्मा को और उनके सब चाहने वालों को शांति मिले, हिम्मत मिले, ताकि उनके विचारों को गांधी और लोहिया की उस परिपाटी को चलाने के लिए लोग आगे बढ़ सकें।
राजबाबा जी, धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। Like you've been hearing, politicians across political party lines, irrespective of the political ideologies they held, they had one single thought, that they will remember Netaji for the kind of humble person that he was, the man with open arms who encouraged, who inspired a whole generation of political party leaders, who inspired a generation to take up politics, to take up the torch for ensuring change in society through their politics. And that's really the kind of person that Mulayam Singh Yadav was. That's the person that many will remember him as, and it's a void that he leaves behind, not just in the politics of Uttar Pradesh, but in the politics of the entire country as well. Sumitra Mahajan, former Speaker of the Lok Sabha, now with me on this broadcast. मैम, धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए यहाँ CNN News 18 पे। आपके क्या एक्सपीरियंसेस रहे हैं, आपके क्या मेमोरीज रहे हैं मुलायम जी के साथ?
मुलायम सिंह जी मैं कहूँगी, एज ए स्पीकर भी, और जब मैं केवल पार्लियामेंट मेंबर थी तब भी मैंने देखा है कि एक बहुत अच्छे नेता थे। नेता से भी ज्यादा उन्होंने पार्टी जिस तरीके से खड़ी की, बहुत मेहनती व्यक्ति, और सबको पारिवारिक दृष्टि से बांध के कार्यकर्ताओं को भी रखने की क्षमता उनमें थी। ऐसे व्यक्ति थे। उस समय हमारे कल्याण सिंह जी, मुलायम सिंह जी, ये उत्तर प्रदेश में एक ऐसे नेतृत्व ये बनते चले गए कि उन्होंने पूरे प्रदेश को कहीं ना कहीं तो दिशा दी। कई सारी चीजें हमें पसंद आए नहीं आई, लेकिन उनमें नेतृत्व का गुण था, ये तो मैं मान्य करती हूँ। साथ ही साथ पारिवारिक दृष्टि से कार्यकर्ताओं को जोड़ना, उनको परिवार का हिस्सा बनाना, ये एक बड़ी बात भी उनमें थी।
जी सुमित्रा जी, हम काफी पॉलिटिशियन से बात कर रहे हैं, एंड कटिंग अक्रॉस पॉलिटिकल पार्टी लाइंस, पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजी जो भी हो, नेताजी के लिए जो उनका प्यार था, नेताजी के लिए जो उनका आदर और सम्मान था, वो किसी भी पार्टी में किसी भी पार्टी लीडर का हो, वो सब सामान्य है। इवन प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी जिन्होंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ट्वीट किया, वो भी उनका भी यही कहना था।
जी, और प्रजातंत्र में यह आवश्यक है। हमारे नेता अटल जी कहते थे कि जहां विरोध करना है वहां विरोध करो, लेकिन बाद में हम हंस के मिल सके, ऐसी स्थिति होना। और ये बात लोकतंत्र के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है कि पॉलिसी वाइज विरोध करना है, वो बात ठीक है, लेकिन बाद में, और मुलायम सिंह जी का वही गुण मैंने देखा एज ए स्पीकर, लोकसभा में कभी बहुत ऊंची आवाज में नहीं बोलते थे, या अपने सदस्यों को भी बहुत काबू में खुद रखते थे कि नहीं, ऐसा व्यवहार नहीं होना। ये उनका, जब वो उपस्थित रहते थे तब बहुत ध्यान देते थे इन चीजों का। और इसलिए मैं कहूंगी कि ये प्रजा लोकतंत्र को समझते हुए उन्होंने पार्टी को आगे बढ़ाया।
महाजन जी, धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। हियर ऑन CNN News 18, the condolences are pouring in, the memories that Netaji leaves behind among not just Samajwadi Party leaders but across political party lines as well. That is something that we are remembering today as we celebrate the life and times of Netaji. Let's listen into reactions coming in.
मेदांता, कल मैं मेदांता हॉस्पिटल गया था और माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी से मुलाकात हुई, उनके परिवार के लोगों से, आदरणीय राम गोपाल यादव जी से, सबसे मुलाकात हुई, और सारे लोग इस बात को लेकर चिंतित थे, उनके समर्थक, उनके प्रशंसक, सबको निश्चित रूप से इस बात की चिंता थी कि उनकी सेहत में सुधार हो, लेकिन वो जिंदगी की अंतिम जंग हार गए।
संजय सिंह, जो कि
श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित कर रहे थे मुलायम सिंह यादव को। निश्चित तौर पर जितनी बड़ी क्षति है सियासत के लिए, बहुत बड़ी क्षति सामने आई है और अलग अलग तरीके से राजनेता।
Aam Aadmi Party Sanjay Singh there reacting to the demise of Mulayam Singh Yadav. Remember, he passed away this morning at the age of 82. He was admitted in the Medanta hospital here in Gurugram in the National Capital Region for the last couple of days. He was in the ICU for the last 10 days on life-saving drugs. Unfortunately, he has lost the battle with life. A man who inspired not just his family members, not just his party karyakartas, the last man on ground, but he inspired an entire class, an entire generation of political leaders, inspired them to take the plunge, to enter politics and ensure that they are the change that this country needs. Maria, my colleague, continues to be with me on this broadcast. And Maria, we've been speaking to politicians from across the board, and all of them have only one thing to say. He was an ordinary man, came from ordinary beginnings, from humble beginnings, but his life was extraordinary, politically as well as personally.
Yes, that's right. And someone who achieved great fame and distinguished himself in national politics. Someone who played an important role as a member of parliament as well, because his interventions were insightful and emphasized on furthering national interest, is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said. Several leaders have put out their pictures with Mulayam Singh Yadav. Prime Minister, interestingly, has put out pictures in which he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat and Mulayam Singh Yadav was then serving as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. What was the discussions like? Those are pictures that have come in from the Gyan Bhavan then, when Prime Minister Modi and was the Chief Minister of Gujarat and Mulayam Singh Yadav was serving as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh then. So as we see those messages come in, Farooq Abdullah, another veteran politician of Indian politics, he's remembering Mulayam Singh Yadav as a humble politician. His arch rival, Mayawati, has put out a detailed tweet in which she's remembering him as well. So, the point is being made right now is that the entire country stands united in grief with Akhilesh Yadav and the Samajwadi Party in this moment, which is certainly end of an era. We are talking about it as truly an end of a politics that Mulayam Singh Yadav stood for, that he believed in, that he really propagated for decades. A constituency that he carefully carved out in Uttar Pradesh, and he nurtured that constituency for decades. But Mulayam Singh Yadav, his role as Defence Minister, Mulayam Singh Yadav, his role as a Member of Parliament representing Uttar Pradesh, all that has been remembered by politicians across party lines. And, we are seeing that announcement coming from Uttar Pradesh government, where Yogi Adityanath has said that there will be a 3-day mourning that has been announced in the state of Uttar Pradesh because Mulayam Singh Yadav served as the Chief Minister as well. So state funeral will be given to Mulayam Singh Yadav. His mortal remains will be carried to Saifai town, which has been built by Mulayam and nurtured by his entire family, which has all the benefits that you can think of. It's almost like a sea of development in otherwise area, which during the Samajwadi Party tenure, which faced criticism that all the development funds were transferred and directed towards Saifai. So that's where at the traditional family village is where the last rites of Mulayam Singh Yadav will take place. But politicians of his age, younger politicians, are all remembering Mulayam Singh Yadav, remembering what he stood for. And, for us as journalists who have covered politics and who have had a chance of interacting with Mulayam Singh Yadav on multiple occasions, trying to listen to his insights, trying to listen to his press conferences, it was always about making political points without jargon, trying to make political points and sending a larger political message. So it was very difficult to decode the politics of Mulayam Singh Yadav in many ways in 1990s and in early 2000 and late 2000, when he would be seen as part of an alliance and yet he would be seen on the other side. The classic example was when during presidential elections, he took a stand which was contrarian to the side that he was on. So he was also someone who could be reached out by politicians across parties, and they would be, respecting Mulayam Singh Yadav's wisdom in taking calls which were seen to be largely benefiting that political group. So he was also someone, politically speaking, as a man who mastered the art of coalition politics. He could get warring factions together and ensure that they are on talking terms, particularly when it comes to national coalitions, which the 1990s and early 2000s were known for. I mean, till 2014, and then it was Prime Minister Modi's era which has begun. So having said that, and that is the reason why we are seeing condolences pour in from various politicians across party lines, all of them remembering Mulayam Singh Yadav as a humble man, as someone who was a man with humble beginnings, and he continued to maintain that. And I'll make an observation also. He was seen also recently in Parliament on a wheelchair because he understood his parliamentary responsibilities and duties and performed it very diligently. So even now, when he was ailing and his health had started deteriorating, Mulayam Singh Yadav was seen on a wheelchair from gate number 1, somebody accompanying him, lifting his wheelchair through those staircases, and then he would be pushed around and he would be seen in Parliament, and on the second floor is where the Samajwadi Party office was, and Mulayam Singh Yadav would be sitting there with the party men, interacting with them. So every time you made an effort to interact with Mulayam Singh Yadav, even though, memory had started failing him, he would make an effort in trying to remember. So we would see often at gate number 1, several politicians would stop, greet Netaji, and then move on.
Absolutely. Do stay on with me. D. Raja of the CPI also now with us on this broadcast. Unfortunate circumstances we are speaking in, Mr. D. Raja, but if you could share some of your personal experiences with Mulayam Singh Yadav.
Firstly, it is very sad that Mulayam ji is no more. A couple of days back, I had been to hospital. I met Mr. Akhilesh, Mr. Shipal. I thought he would recover well and come out. Anyway, it is very sad news. He was one of the most respected senior political leaders of our country. I used to have a close working relationship with him at the time of United Front formation and then United Front government. He used to be very affectionate to me. Inside Parliament also, I used to meet him. Whenever he saw me, he used to put his hand on my shoulder and speak to me with so much affection and discuss certain issues. And he is very committed. He was a very committed person to the ideals of Logia ji and to the cause of backward and downtrodden people. And it's a very great loss. And on behalf of our party, the Communist Party of India, I pay my solemn homage. And I also wish Mr. Akhilesh to gain courage to overcome this tragedy and move forward, carrying forward the legacy of Mr. Mulayam ji.
D. Raja, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Condolences and tributes they're pouring in for Mulayam Singh Yadav, also standing with the family, standing with Akhilesh Yadav and his family in this time of grief. We do know that Mulayam Singh will be, his mortal remains will be taken to Lucknow first and then to Saifai, where he will be laid to rest. The UP government has also declared a 3-day state mourning on the passing away of the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, a man who donned many hats, a grassroots leader in its true sense, son of the soil in its true sense as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, a man who shaped the politics of the state, a man who inspired generations of political leaders, inspired many to take the plunge, to bite the bullet and join politics, make a political career for the people of this country, for the people of the state. His political affiliations kept aside, his relationships that he shared with politicians from across the spectrum are what is being spoken of today, that is being celebrated today, as the void that he leaves behind will be felt not just by Akhilesh and his family, not just by the Samajwadi Party, but by the people of Uttar Pradesh and by the people of this country as well. We will keep getting you the condolence messages that are pouring in, but slipping into a quick break on this edition on CNN News 18.
उद्धव ठाकरे जी की शिवसेना ने सब खो दिया। पहले हिंदुत्व, फिर सरकार, उसके बाद में सिंबल, अब नाम भी गया। और सबसे महत्व की बात कि महाराष्ट्र की जनता का विश्वास भी उद्धव ठाकरे की शिवसेना ने खो दिया।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a 3-day tour to the northeast and he visited the Kamakya temple in Assam's Guwahati, sought the blessings of goddess Kamakya. He was accompanied by the Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma. He also visited the Golaghat district to inaugurate the 2-day conference of the Superintendents of Police at the Police Training College. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman slammed Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao after he renamed his party from TRS to BRS. She alleged that the name was changed due to belief in occult practices. She further added that KCR stopped going to the Secretariat or inducting women for many years in his cabinet based on advice given by his tantric. Telangana Education Minister hit back at the Finance Minister, saying there were 2 women ministers in the KCR cabinet for the last 3 years. KCR Cabinet Minister further added that it's embarrassing on part of the Finance Minister that she is not informed on basic information. Telangana BJP President joined in hitting out at KCR. He added that KCR has been performing tantric pujas for few years now and it was a tantric who instructed him to change the name of the party to prevent losing elections. After the railways changed the name of Tipu Express to Wadiyar Express, AIMIM chief has attacked the central government by tweeting that Tipu Sultan irks the BJP because he waged 3 wars against his British masters. He further added that another train could have been named after the Wadiyars. BJP will never be able to erase Tipu's legacy, he said, as he was scared that Britishers even scare them now. BJP was quick to hit out at the AIMIM chief. Amit Malviya, the IT cell chief of the BJP, said in a tweet that BJP does not want to erase Tipu's legacy. On the contrary, it wants to show its true legacy. Malviya further added that Tipu was a barbarian who oppressed and tortured Hindus and Christians. Politics has erupted over the Mahakal corridor in Madhya Pradesh. Congress has claimed that the budget of 300 crore rupees was allocated for the beautification of the city by the former Kamal Nath government. Remember, the first phase of the Mahakal corridor, which was built at the cost of 856 crore rupees, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on the 11th of October. Amid the ongoing debate regarding population imbalance, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has lashed out at RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Owaisi added that the population of Muslims isn't increasing but falling because of their use of condoms.
Total fertility rate वो 2% हो गया, माने इंडिया का फर्टिलिटी रेट बहुत ज्यादा गिरा और सबसे ज्यादा अगर TFR रेट गिरा मुसलमानों का गिरा। सबसे ज्यादा कॉन्डोम कौन इस्तेमाल कर रहा? नहीं, ये बताने के लिए हम इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। मोहन भागवत इस पर नहीं बोलेंगे।
After Election Commission froze the Shiv Sena logo and forbade both factions from using it, Uddhav's faction hit back at the EC, calling the action unjust and stating that the EC is working on the same lines as the CBI. He said that the logo has been frozen long back by their faction.
7 तारीख को हम लोगों ने 4 बजे उनको सारे कागजात दे दिए थे। उनके आपस में संवाद अच्छी ठीक नहीं थे, इसके लिए उनको पता ही नहीं चला कि हमने दे दिए। अब सुनवाई कुछ भी नहीं हुई, निर्णय ले गया और निर्णय लेकर उन्होंने हमारा जो चुनाव चिन्ह है उसको फ्रीज कर दिया। क्यों नहीं करेंगे? क्लेम करेंगे, हम करेंगे, लेकिन ये कब होगा? जब जांच होगी तब। ये चुनाव आयोग भी उसमें गया जिसमें CBI, ED हो, जो हम लोग लाइन में है उसी लाइन में चुनाव आयोग।
Congress's presidential candidate Shashi Tharoor has expressed the need for reinstating strength in the party to gain voters. He said that the Congress has to run the country nicely, also adding that the BJP should prepare themselves to sit in the opposition in 2024.
परिवर्तन हमारे पार्टी में चाहिए और ये परिवर्तन ले आने वाला मैं सोचता हूं कि मैं हूं परिवर्तन की उम्मीदवार। बदलाव के लिए मैं खड़ा हूं। तो मैं मांग रहा हूं आप सब लोग के समर्थन। ये मैं डेलीगेट्स को कह रहा हूं तो मैं आपके सामने ये पेश कर रहा हूं।
Haryana Home Minister Anil Vij has hit out at AIMIM chief Asudin Owaisi for his comment on declining Muslim population in India. Vij rebutted and said that population should further drop down and hum do hamare do should be followed.
AIMIM के चीफ असदुद्दीन ओवैसी जी ने कहा है कि हिंदुस्तान में मुसलमानों की आबादी गिर रही है। अगर गिर रही है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, परंतु इसको और गिराओ और इसको हम दो हमारे दो तक लाओ।
Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the solar village in Modera in Gujarat. Modera has been declared India's first renewable energy village. Prime Minister is on a 3-day visit to election-bound Gujarat, where he will be inaugurating development projects over 14,500 crore rupees.
मोढेरा के लिए विकास की नई ऊर्जा का संचार हुआ।
Thank you for staying with us. Grim news coming in this Monday morning. Netaji, as he was formerly known, Mulayam Singh Yadav, breathes his last this morning at about 8:16 a.m. He passed away as he lost the battle with life at the age of 82, surrounded by his son Akhilesh Yadav and family members. Remember, he was fighting a prolonged illness and was admitted to the hospital since the 22nd of August. Unfortunately, he lost that battle with life this morning, and condolences and tributes are pouring in from across the political spectrum. Let's listen in to reactions coming in from the Shiv Sena.
मैम, मुलायम सिंह जी अब इस दुनिया में नहीं रहे। आपका उनके साथ कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा पार्लियामेंट में?
बहुत ही दुखद घटना है और मैं कहूँगी उनके जो 82 साल में उन्होंने इतना सारा बॉडी ऑफ वर्क छोड़कर गए हैं। और जब हम समानता की बात करते हैं, हम इंक्लूसिव सोसाइटीज़ की बात करते हैं, तो उनका उसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है। जो उन्होंने उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए किया है, उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता के लिए किया है, वो योगदान देश नहीं भूल सकता है। और जो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर भी जब रहे थे, उनके काफ़ी जिम्मेदारियाँ एज ए डिफेंस मिनिस्टर रही थी, तो उन्होंने काम किया है। साथ ही साथ मेरा एक्सपीरियंस अगर आप पूछेंगे कि जब मैं सस्पेंड हुई थी, तो वो रोज़ हमसे हमारी पूछने आते थे कि आप सब ठीक ठाक तो हो, वो कुछ कर सकते हैं। उन्होंने ये तक कहा था कि वो चिट्ठी लिखेंगे। तो उनका कमिटमेंट टू द पार्लियामेंट ऑल्सो, रोज़ आते थे वहाँ पर, कोशिश करते थे रोज़ आने की सेहत अनुसार। पर एक पॉजिटिव एक्सपीरियंस रहा। ये जब मैं लास्ट विंटर सेशन में हम सस्पेंड हुए थे, तो बाकायदा जब भी हम लोग गेट नंबर 1 पे मिलते थे, तो हमेशा आशीर्वाद देते रहते थे और कहते थे कि हमारी लड़ाई वो भी लड़ेंगे। तो उसी से हमारा आत्मविश्वास भी बढ़ता था कि जो हम लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, वो लड़ाई ऐसे लोगों के खिलाफ है जो संविधान और कट्टरपंथी सोच के साथ हैं। तो उनकी प्रेजेंस तो मिस होगी, सिर्फ पार्लियामेंट में ही नहीं, देश में भी, और खास करके उत्तर प्रदेश में।
India is mourning the loss of Mulayam Singh Yadav, also celebrating the man that he was, the extraordinary politician that he was. And we'll keep getting you those condolence messages and those tributes that are now pouring in. The time for a quick break on this edition. We'll be back with more. Don't go anywhere. An arrow. Both parties will have to now submit their new symbols tomorrow ahead of next month's by-election. The Uddhav camp has already come out with its proposals. The Eknath Shinde group, meanwhile, has accused Uddhav Thackeray of making false affidavits. Police has seized 4,862 fake affidavits. FIR has also been registered in that case. Uddhav camp is likely to move the Supreme Court against the decision of the Election Commission to freeze the party's name and symbol. Remember, both the factions have been asked to submit their party's new symbols by 10th of October. BJP has lashed out against the Uddhav camp after EC froze the Shiv Sena's symbol. They have accused Uddhav Thackeray of having lost his Hindutva plank now the party and the symbol.
सुना है बारामती में पटाखे फोड़े जा रहे हैं, दिवाली मनाई जा रही है और इसे ही कहते हैं दोस्ती का नाटक करते हुए पीठ में खोपा गया खंजीर, या उद्धव जी की भाषा में गद्दारी।
उद्धव ठाकरे जी की शिवसेना ने सब खो दिया। पहले हिंदुत्व, फिर सरकार, उसके बाद में सिंबल, अब नाम भी गया। और सबसे महत्व की बात कि महाराष्ट्र की जनता का विश्वास भी उद्धव ठाकरे की शिवसेना ने खो दिया।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a 3-day tour to the northeast and he visited the Kamakya temple in Assam's Guwahati, sought the blessings of goddess Kamakya. He was accompanied by the Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma. He also visited the Golaghat district to inaugurate the 2-day conference of the Superintendents of Police at the Police Training College. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman slammed Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao after he renamed his party from TRS to BRS. She alleged that the name was changed due to belief in occult practices. She further added that KCR stopped going to the Secretariat or inducting women for many years in his cabinet based on advice given by his tantric. Telangana Education Minister hit back at the Finance Minister, saying there were 2 women ministers in the KCR cabinet for the last 3 years. KCR cabinet minister further added that it's embarrassing on part of the finance minister that she is not informed on basic information. Telangana BJP president joined in hitting out at KCR. He added that KCR has been performing tantric pujas for few years now and it was a tantric who instructed him to change the name of the party to prevent losing elections. After the railways changed the name of Tipu Express to Wadiyar Express, AIMIM chief has attacked the central government by tweeting that Tipu Sultan irks the BJP because he waged 3 wars against his British masters. He further added that another train could have been named after the Wadiyars. BJP will never be able to erase Tipu's legacy, he said, as he was scared that Britishers even scare them now. BJP was quick to hit out at the AIMIM chief. Amit Malviya, the IT cell chief of the BJP, said in a tweet that BJP does not want to erase Tipu's legacy. On the contrary, it wants to show its true legacy. Malviya further added that Tipu was a barbarian who oppressed and tortured Hindus and Christians. Politics has erupted over the Mahakal corridor in Madhya Pradesh. Congress has claimed that the budget of 300 crore rupees was allocated for the beautification of the city by the former Kamalnath government. Remember, the first phase of the Mahakal corridor, which was built at the cost of 856 crore rupees, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on the 11th of October. Amid the ongoing debate regarding population imbalance, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has lashed out at RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Owaisi added that the population of Muslims isn't increasing but falling because of their use of condoms.
टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट वो 2% हो गया, माने इंडिया का फर्टिलिटी रेट बहुत ज्यादा गिरा और सबसे ज्यादा अगर टीएफआर रेट गिरा मुसलमानों का गिरा। सबसे ज्यादा कॉन्डोम कौन इस्तेमाल कर रहा? नहीं, ये बताने के लिए हम इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। मोहन भागवत इस पर नहीं बोलेंगे।
After Election Commission froze the Shiv Sena logo and forbade both factions from using it, Uddhav's faction hit back at the EC, calling the action unjust and stating that the EC is working on the same lines as the CBI. He said that the logo has been frozen long back by their faction.
7 तारीख को हम लोगों ने 4 बजे उनको सारे कागजात दे दिए थे। उनके आपस में संवाद अच्छी ठीक नहीं थे, इसके लिए उनको पता।
Thank you for staying with us. At the age of 82, Netaji, as he was fondly known, Mulayam Singh Yadav breathed his last this morning at the Medanta hospital in Gurugram. Condolences are pouring in from across political lines because it's a void that he leaves behind, not just for the Samajwadi Party, not just for his family, but for an entire generation of political leaders who looked up to him, who he inspired to take the plunge into politics, shape the politics of this country. Sharon, my colleague, now joins us from outside the Medanta hospital. And Sharon, we're given to understand that Home Minister Amit Shah is expected to reach the hospital there shortly and meet with Akhilesh Yadav and the family members.
That is right, Poonam. Very somber mood right outside the hospital. There are, in fact, influx of Samajwadi Party workers who are, in fact, coming in large numbers outside the hospital. So it is, in fact, getting difficult for the guards to, in fact, ensure that they are, in fact, controlled over here. Now there is, in fact, reports of how the Home Minister is also, in fact, going to visit the Medanta hospital, where already the family members of Mulayam Singh Yadav are already here. His son Akhilesh Yadav, daughter-in-law Dimple Yadav and others are, in fact, already here since morning. And Amit Shah, the Home Minister Amit Shah, will in fact be coming and will be, in fact, meeting the family members of Mulayam Singh Yadav over here, also giving his condolences. He has already tweeted about it, how he was, in fact, an enigmatic personality, and how all leaders cutting across the political party lines have, in fact, called him humble, someone who was, in fact, someone who used to talk about n number of topics, used to discuss a lot. So you can see right behind me is the hospital, where in any moment from now there are a number of leaders who have, in fact, are being expected. First of all, Home Minister Amit Shah is expected here. Apart from that, Lalu Prasad Yadav is also, in fact, expected here. A statement, in fact, has now been released by Medanta Hospital, which says that it was, in fact, at about 8:16 a.m. when Mulayam Singh Yadav breathed his last. Remember, it was on August 22nd when he had complained of stomach ache, he had complained of breathing issues, restlessness, and accordingly he was, in fact, admitted at Medanta Hospital. Since then, he was at ICU. He was in ICU, and there has not been considerable any sort of a betterment in his treatment, is what the doctors have been suggesting. Since he was taken here on August 22nd, it was, in fact, Dr. Sushila Kataria, who is the specialist and head of the internal medicine. She was leading the doctors' team. She was the one who was, in fact, ongoing with the treatment as far as Mulayam Singh Yadav's condition is concerned. And today morning at about 8:16 is when he has breathed his last. So there's going to be a series of leaders who will, in fact, be coming over here and will be paying their tribute to Mulayam Singh Yadav, because he was, in fact, an iconic personality when we talk about politics. When we talk about Samajwadi Party, he was the founder of Samajwadi Party. He was the one who, in fact, formed the Samajwadi Party. So there is, in fact, a large number of workers who are, in fact, reaching, the party workers, the party cadres who are, in fact, reaching outside the hospital. And it is, in fact, getting difficult for the security outside the hospital to manage. So any moment from now, a Home Minister who has left from his residence will be reaching Medanta Hospital, will be, in fact, meeting the family members of Mulayam Singh Yadav, who are, in fact, here since morning.
Right, do stay on with me. Let's listen into some reactions coming in as well, because it's not just the Samajwadi Party that has lost a leader, that has lost a veteran, a pillar of the party, but Mulayam Singh Yadav leaves behind a void that is being felt by politicians from across the spectrum.
सिंह जी इस दुनिया से चल बसे हैं, एक कदावर लीडर जिसकी ज़बरदस्त आज भारत को ज़रूरत थी। ये लीडर जो लोगों से जुड़ा हुआ था, ज़मीन से जुड़ा हुआ था, मेरे साथ पार्लियामेंट में बैठता था और हर वक्त पार्लियामेंट की डिबेट में कहीं ना कहीं कोई अच्छी बात ज़रूर कहता रहता जो हुकूमत सुन सकती थी। सारी ज़िंदगी इन्होंने लोगों की खुशी के लिए, गरीब को उठाने के लिए, उसकी बीमारी, उसकी बदहाली, उसकी बेकारी को दूर करने के लिए ज़िंदगी दी इन्होंने। हर वक्त उसी के लिए सोचा। जब डिफेंस मिनिस्टर थे तो ये सोचा कि वतन कैसे मजबूत हो सकता है, कैसे एयरफोर्स, नेवी, आर्मी, इनको कैसे मजबूत किया जा सकता है कि भारत किसी खतरे का, हर खतरे का मुकाबला कर सके। ये इनकी थी। और मुझे वो दिन भी याद है कि जब देवेगौड़ा जी को रिज़ाइन करना पड़ा और हमें एक नया वज़ीर आज़म ढूंढना पड़ा, तो उस वक्त पहले तो बंगाल के जो चीफ मिनिस्टर थे ज्योति बासु जी, उसका नाम पेश किया गया उस वक्त जो लीडर थे, मगर कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ने वो कबूल नहीं किया। उन्होंने कहा नहीं, आप वज़ीर आज़म मत बनिए। फिर इनका नाम था, हम लोगों ने इनका नाम पेश किया उस वक्त मुसीबत ये हो गई कि फिर यादव में कुछ अनबन हो गई और गुजराल साहब को बनना पड़ा, मगर उसके बाद भी वो खड़े रहे। गुजराल
सिंह यादव जी का निधन बहुत ही दुखद है। यूपी की राजनीति की दृष्टि से भी, देश की राजनीति की दृष्टि से भी पूरा यूपी इस आस में बैठा था कि वो इस समय मेदांता में इलाज करा रहे हैं, जल्द स्वस्थ होकर के आएंगे। लेकिन आज दुखद समाचार मिला है। मैं भी इस समाचार से दुखी हूँ और जो उनके परिजन हैं, समर्थक हैं, उन सब को भगवान यह दुख सहन करने की शक्ति प्रदान करे, ऐसी प्रार्थना करता हूँ।
कितनी बड़ी क्षति है?
देखिए, राजनीतिक दृष्टि से तो मैं अगर कहूँ कि एक युग का अंत हुआ है तो गलत नहीं होगा। मुलायम सिंह जी की जो राजनीति थी वो एक अलग प्रकार की राजनीति थी। मैं व्यक्तिगत तौर से तो उनसे बहुत कभी संपर्क में जुड़ा नहीं रहा हूँ, लेकिन उनके बारे में जो सुना हूँ, जाना हूँ, उसमें यही है कि वह राजनीतिक क्षेत्र में जो भी कभी भी कोई भी समस्या लेकर के आया, वो पावर में रहे हैं तो, पावर से बाहर रहे तो भी जितनी मदद करने की उनकी क्षमता होती थी वो मदद करने का काम करते थे। और राजनीति में रहने वाले के अंदर यह भाव रहना चाहिए। मुलायम सिंह जी ने एक बड़ी लकीर खींचने का काम किया है अपने राज्य।
We are of course awaiting the Home Minister's arrival there any time now, but we're given to understand that large number of Samajwadi Party workers, leaders have also gathered there.
That is right, Poonam. Since this announcement has in fact been made by Akhilesh Yadav, he has said how his father has in fact passed away. We are seeing that a huge number of workers have in fact reached right outside the hospital, Medanta hospital, and there is in fact an influx of Samajwadi Party leaders. There are in fact a number of leaders who are in fact coming one by one, in fact meeting the family members, and any moment from now, the Home Minister Amit Shah will also be here. There are also reports suggesting that Lalu Prasad Yadav is also in fact on his way to Medanta hospital. But since 8:16, since he breathed his last, the doctors had informed the family. Accordingly, Akhilesh Yadav had reached the hospital, after which he had in fact made an official announcement of his passing away of Mulayam Singh Yadav. And since then, there is in fact a large crowd right outside the hospital, and there is in fact leaders also who are in fact expected to come at Medanta hospital. Also, remember, he was in fact the 3 non-consecutive times he was the Chief Minister of Lucknow and of Uttar Pradesh. And remember, that is why there is in fact a large number of people who wants to see him. From here, his mortal remains will be taken to Lucknow. It will in fact be, the mortal remains will be kept at Lucknow, Samajwadi Party's headquarters at Lucknow, where people, the public, the party workers, cadres will get an opportunity to pay their respect to Mulayam Singh Yadav, after which his mortal remains will be taken to his hometown, Sefai. So accordingly, the arrangements are being made right now, but there are in fact leaders cutting across the political lines are in fact coming in and paying their tribute, and any moment from now, the Home Minister, who has also tweeted about the sad demise of Mulayam Singh Yadav, will be reaching the hospital anytime.
That we are expecting Union Home Minister to reach the hospital in Gurugram anytime now. Meanwhile, leaders from the Samajwadi Party are already flowing in there to meet with the family of Mulayam Singh Yadav, to meet with Akhilesh and his wife. Several other family members of the Yadav clan are also there at the hospital. And in this time of grief, in this time, there are tributes that are pouring in. There's support that is also pouring in from politicians from across the board. Sharon, we are given to understand that it's expected that Mulayam Singh Yadav's mortal remains will also be kept for at least a few hours at his Delhi residence as well, where people can come and pay their last respects.
Well, I couldn't hear the question. If you could repeat it, Poonam.
Sharon, before the mortal remains are taken to Lucknow and then to Sefai, where he will be laid to rest, we're given to understand that the mortal remains will be kept at his Delhi residence as well for a couple of hours, so that people can come and pay their last respects.
Well, that is right. In fact, what the reports are suggesting is that the family is in fact planning that the mortal remains will in fact be taken to Lucknow today itself. There is in fact a series of leaders who are planning to come here to come and pay their respects. Once that is over, the family is in fact planning to take the mortal remains of Mulayam Singh Yadav to Lucknow, after which it will in fact be kept at the Samajwadi Party headquarters in Lucknow, where the party cadres, the party workers can come in large number, can pay their respect to Mulayam Singh Yadav, after which the last riots will in fact be done at Saifai. So that is the plan as of now. Right now we are right outside the Medanta hospital, and I want to ask my video journalist to pan and show you the amount of people who have in fact gathered over here. These are in fact, there are media personnel, but also a large number of the Samajwadi Party workers also who have gathered here. There is in fact an emotion that is in fact running over here. They all have been in fact saying that how great as a leader he was. He was in fact the founder of Samajwadi Party, and he has been the chief minister. He has been the defense minister of the country as well. He has in fact been the around 7 terms he has served as the MLA of Jaswant Nagar. Apart from that, he has in fact been the member of parliament from Mainpuri. From almost about 9 terms he has served as a member of parliament. And remember, the last session also, if you see the parliament session that was in fact there, he was in fact coming almost on alternative days. He was being assisted by a help who was in fact coming to the parliament. But even in the last session, he was very much there. He was in fact coming and speaking to the leaders. He was in fact, we have seen how he was interacting with a number of such politicians at the central hall. After that, it was in August when his health started deteriorating. It was in August when he had complained of stomachache, he had complained of breathlessness, and accordingly he was in fact taken to Medanta hospital. He was under the supervision of Dr. Sushila Kataria, who is in fact one of the internal medicine specialists across the country, and she was in fact leading the team. He was under supervision on a daily basis. If you remember, the press releases also said that his situation is critical. He is in fact in ICU, but it was today morning at about 8:16 when he has breathed his last. And you can see the kind of love that people have, the party workers, the cadres have for Mulayam Singh Yadav, that they are coming here in large numbers to pay their respect. And cutting across the political line, we are seeing leaders pouring in their messages, their condolences for Mulayam Singh Yadav, and they are in fact on their way to meet the family members of Mulayam Singh Yadav here at Medanta.
Absolutely, do stay on with us. We will of course keep coming back to you. But senior journalist R. Rajgopalan also joining us on this broadcast. And Mr. Rajgopalan, a somber moment, unfortunate circumstances that we are speaking in, but it's not just India that's mourning the loss of Netaji. It's also India celebrating the life and times of Netaji, because we're in a day and age where we talk of political leaders who are reaching out via new means in the digital age. In such an age, a man who rose from the ground, who was real grassroots leader in its real sense, and that really was the embodiment of Mulayam Singh Yadav.
Of course, you said it, Poonam, very well. The point is, Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav is digitalization has come in 2021, 22, 23. But Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's digitalized connection was with the villagers, with the Gram Panchayat, with the zonal persons, with the assembly leaders. This is all time immemorial. He knows everyone by heart. In fact, what I would also suggest as a tribute to Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, the internet and also the Zoom, whatever political the technological improvement is there, it's all due to Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav. When he was defense minister, he could articulate certain points as a defense minister. And second thing, during the UPA regime, it was Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav who brought a solution to the nuclear deal. Dr. Manmohan Singh government was stuttering, but suddenly Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav gave support, and that gave Mr. Manmohan Singh an elbow room to get the bill passed. Apart from that, my understanding of Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav is day back to Ram Manohar Lohia and Karpuri Thakur. They were all Ram Manohar Lohia disciples. As you know, the political observations, I have known Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav for longer years, and his association with Chaudhary Charan Singh is immemorial. These tall steel leaders are no more now. But at the same time, politically, I would like to say, Madam Poonam, it's going to be a difficult days for Mr. Akhilesh Yadav because he is now politically orphaned, and also as his father passed away, it's going to be a very testing moment for him. He has to fight the political battle in 2024 Lok Sabha election. And apart from that, the Mainpuri parliamentary constituency which Mulayam Singh Yadav has been representing will also be vacant, and there will be a by-election to that in another 6 months' time. So these are all certain political messages from Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav. And Madam, what I would like to tell you, Poonam, Women's Reservation Bill was not passed because of Mulayam Singh Yadav and Lalu Yadav. Both Yadavs have stopped that. At that time, there were commotion in parliament, but it is Mulayam Singh Yadav's tall leadership who convinced the parliament and said that this type of bill will create some, destabilization for Indian politics. Therefore, the bill was, and also, as a short while ago, the Prime Minister, President, Vice President, they all paid tributes. It's a memorable one. As Prime Minister has also tagged his photo with Jayalalitha, Mulayam Singh Yadav and others, it also shows that importance of the Mulayam Singh Yadav. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the wedding of Mulayam Singh Yadav's relative with Lalu Yadav's daughter.
Right, Mr. Rajgopal, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I will come back to you, but we're just cutting across to Medanta Hospital in Gurugram, where the Union Home Minister Amit Shah has just reached. He, of course, will be meeting with Akhilesh Yadav and the family members who are there. Sharon, we're given to understand Amit Shah has just arrived.
Well, that is right, Poonam. In fact, we have given the live visuals of the convoy that has in fact reached the Home Minister's convoy that has in fact reached Medanta Hospital. He has in fact entered the Medanta Hospital, will be in fact meeting the family members, and other leaders are also in fact expected. But it was just 2 minutes back when Amit Shah has in fact arrived at Medanta Hospital. Remember, he has also expressed his condolences regarding Mulayam Singh Yadav, and now he has in fact reached the Medanta Hospital. He will be meeting Akhilesh Yadav and the other family members, and you can see right here on the left side also there are a number of party workers who are in fact running over here at Medanta Hospital, and it is in fact getting difficult for the security to handle the situation, but at the moment we are seeing that the Home Minister has in fact reached Medanta Hospital. He will be in fact meeting the family members of Mulayam Singh Yadav anytime now.
Right, he's reached there to offer his support in this time of grief to the Yadav clan, to the Yadav Parivar that has been at Medanta Hospital. Mulayam Singh Yadav breathed his last this morning at about 8:16 a.m., surrounded by his family members. He was fighting a battle for a very, very long time. Sharon, he was admitted to the hospital on the 22nd of August, but unfortunately in the last 10 days his condition only deteriorated and he was put on life support. He was on life-saving drugs and in the ICU.
Absolutely, Poonam. If you remember, it was on 22nd of August when he was in fact admitted because he had complained of stomach ache and he had complained of breathlessness, and accordingly he was admitted here. And since then, on a daily basis, the press releases that are in fact coming as far as Mulayam Singh Yadav is concerned, it has in fact been that he is on life-saving drugs. He is in a critical state. And it was yesterday when the updated press release said that he is quite critical, and today morning at about 8:16 is when he has breathed his last. The family members were informed, and accordingly the family members had reached Medanta Hospital today morning, and now we are seeing that the Home Minister also has in fact reached here. The Prime Minister has expressed his condolences. We are seeing that a huge number of the party workers have also gathered here. I will ask my camera person to keep the visuals of the entrance at the Medanta Hospital, because a series of party workers, Samajwadi Party leaders, the Home Minister has in fact reached. There are also reports suggesting Lalu Prasad Yadav is also in fact planning to reach, because when we talk about Mulayam Singh Yadav, he is in fact an iconic personality. He was in fact someone who is the founder of Samajwadi Party, and we have seen how his political career has something that has been appreciated across the political line. He has been the MLA from Jaswant Nagar for 7 times, has won the parliamentary polls from Mainpuri, Sambhal, Kanauj, Azamgarh. He has won 4 times as far as the parliamentary Lok Sabha elections are concerned, and we have seen how from the inception of the Samajwadi Party, he has been been closely associated, and it was only in 2017 when there was in fact a rift within the Samajwadi Party between Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav's brother, and we have seen how that was in fact a low point.
Right, sorry to interrupt you there, but condolences are now pouring in.
उत्तर प्रदेश के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव वो हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे। वैसे मैं भी 3 दिन पहले उनके यहाँ कुशल क्षेम पूछने के लिए गया था, हॉस्पिटल भी गया था, और उस समय भी स्थिति बड़ी नाजुक थी बनी हुई, लेकिन फिर भी प्रभु से हमने उस समय कामना की थी। लेकिन अब जो भी प्रभु की इच्छा होती है वैसा ही होता है। वो हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे, बड़ा हमें इस बात के लिए कष्ट दुख भी है। मैं अपनी ओर से, हरियाणा सरकार की ओर से उनके लिए शांति की प्रार्थना करता हूं प्रभु से, और उनके चरणों में श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं। थैंक यू।
That was the Chief Minister of Haryana coming out, offering his condolences, paying his tributes to the late Samajwadi Party icon, the founder of the Samajwadi Party, a politician par excellence, is how he is being described today, is how he is being remembered today. And even as Sharon continues to get us the very latest, and we are standing by there to try and get in a word from some of the Samajwadi Party leaders, the workers who've gathered there at the Medanta hospital. Senior journalist R. Rajgopalan continues to be with us, and before we had to cut our conversation short, Mr. Rajgopalan, we were talking about Mulayam Singh Yadav and the fair share of controversies he's had as well. But today, as we remember the life and times of Mulayam Singh Yadav, the fact that his
very tall leader, Mr. Mulayam Singh
absolutely,
Yadav,
and the fact that his aura, his charisma cut across political ideologies, across the political spectrum, goes on to talk of the kind of man and the kind of politician he was.
Absolutely right. But for Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's tall leadership, and who could bring unity among the leaders, it was very difficult for BJP to find a solution for the presidential election. It was Mulayam Singh Yadav who suggested APJ Abdul Kalam, and BJP fell for it. Pramod Mahajan and Mulayam Singh Yadav worked out a strategy, and Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam was installed as a president of India. So therefore, a lot of, Mulayam Singh Yadav played politics, and he has been very close to former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar. In Parliament, whenever Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav arose to spoke, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Ladwani used to, enjoy the discussion, the debate.
काम किया वो वर्षों तक याद रखा जाएगा। Thank you.
That was Union Minister Piyush Goyal there, remembering his interactions with Mulayam Singh Yadav, a parliamentarian until his last breath. He was a member of parliament. Unfortunately, he lost the battle with life this morning at about 8:16 a.m. is when he breathed his last. And sorry we interrupted you there, Mr. Rajgopalan. Please continue.
Now, Mr. Abdul Kalam, who was installed as a Prime President of India. And second thing, when Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav wanted certain, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's presence at Safai village for the daughter's marriage, it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi who went to Safai, where Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav's relative and Mulayam Singh Yadav's, daughter-in-law, but they were, in a very famous word in Safai, they all joined together and celebrated. Therefore, Mulayam Singh Yadav's tall personality, and he has a leader's connections with every political party. Former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar, Raj Narayan, even for that Chaudhary Charan Singh, Ajit Singh, they were all his contemporaries. And Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's loss is a very big loss to Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, because Akhilesh Yadav, who had been, in 2022 elections also, he faced immense Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, plus assembly elections. Now, with the demise of Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, the Samajwadi Party will face internal problems, political problems, family problems. Therefore, how Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's demise, vacuum will be created in the family. UP politics will take a U-turn. Now, things are going to be disarray in 2024 elections also, if you draw the line to that level. So, therefore, politically, in simple words, I would say Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's demise is a very sad day for Uttar Pradesh politics. That is why Uttar Pradesh government has given 3 days mourning. It's a great tribute to them. Prime Minister in his tweet, 3 tweets also has, endorsed certain policies of Prime Minister at that time, Mr. Defense Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav's policies, Prime Minister, now the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has endorsed it. With all being put together, Mulayam Singh Yadav's demise is a great loss to Indian politics, Uttar Pradesh politics, especially for socialism. With this Mulayam Singh Yadav's demise, the last man in the socialist movement is also no more with us.
And it's not just the void that he leaves behind for the Samajwadi Party, it's a void that he leaves behind for an entire generation of politicians, Mr. Rajgopalan, isn't it? Because we spoke to several political leaders since this morning, since the news broke about his demise, and all of them had to speak of how inspiring Mulayam Singh Yadav was. He inspired young leaders, he inspired the youths to take the plunge, to get into politics and change the system, change it from inside, change the state and the country for the better.
Poonam, his personality matters. In politics, only the person, his tall leadership, and his also ability to control the youth. Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav controlled the youth, and especially for those who had the aspirations. It is Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav who could unite the very young leaders. He has also generated a lot of enthusiasm among the youngsters. Things are very good in digitalized era, but when Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, a leader of 1990s and 2000, in 20 years ago, he could see that defense forces was to be.
We're shifting focus to some more news coming in. This time, the news coming in from Ukraine, and these visuals on your screens are from the Ukrainian capital city of Kyiv, where multiple explosions have just been heard. Russia there perhaps upping the ante against Ukraine, trying to reclaim the areas that Ukrainian forces had managed to wrest from them. And Abhishek, my colleague, is joining us for more on that. Abhishek, we can hear and see those multiple explosions taking place there, but what exactly transpired?
This is apparently an attack from the Russian military side, and this comes on the heels of the Crimea bridge blast that has happened on Saturday. That actually was a point where it was being anticipated that there is going to be only escalation from the side of Russia to avenge something that was hitting a very weak point of Russia, that was this prime infrastructure that would connect Russian south to the peninsular Crimea. So ever since that incident had happened, it was believed that Russia would take some aggressive steps. And today, when the missiles and rockets are hitting the central part of Kyiv, the capital city of Ukraine, this is coming. The worst fears of Ukrainians are coming true, because there was this anticipation that Russian would attack back, and this is happening in that context. Also, Russia has said, the Russian investigative agencies have said that the attack on Crimea Bridge was very much linked to various special forces operation in Ukraine, who masterminded, planned and then conducted that strike on Crimea Bridge, which also resulted in death of 3 civilians on the Crimea Bridge. Also, there have been certain aspects of that whole operation that also connects dot that this whole truck, which was laden with explosives, that traveled through Bulgaria, Armenia, and Krasnodar and other parts. So in a way, they have also told that they have identified the persons who were involved in this, and one of the largest segment of Ukrainian special force was also involved in this whole operation to sabotage the Crimean Bridge. And today, the bombing or the rocket fires or the missile launches that we are seeing in the city of Ukraine, Kyiv, the capital city of Ukraine, could be linked to something of that incident that has happened a few days back on Crimean Bridge, because for very last few days, there has not been any aggressive step or aggressive bombing on the capital city of Kyiv from the side of Russian military, because Kyiv could be the central part of Ukraine, and to launch any rocket attack, Russian warplanes will have to fly over a long territory, and then only they can launch the missile attack on the capital city. So far, the fight has been limited to the bordering areas, especially those regions where Russia has occupied territories like Kherson, Zaporozhye, Donetsk. But now, once again, Russia is trying to destabilize the capital city of Ukraine, and this is clearly escalation of war from the side of Russian military, one can say.
Absolutely, and Abhishek, this comes just days after Putin put in place the renewed mobilization plan. So it looks like he has set the ball rolling. And before I get you in, Sushant Sareen, Strategic Affairs Analyst, now with us on this broadcast. And Mr. Sareen, how do you view this? Just a few days ago, Putin in fact announced perhaps what is the first large-scale military mobilization since we've seen the World War. And now it looks like he's set the ball rolling.
Look, the war hasn't been going in the favor of the Russians. There have been counterattacks taking place from the Ukrainian side. Large amounts of territory have been recovered by the Ukrainians. The Russian war machinery has faltered. And then you had this blowing up of the bridge, not entirely, but substantially, linking Crimea to the mainland. And we've seen that not only was the mobilization happening, but there's been a change of command in the Russian general staff to take the war forward. Now, clearly, with the Russians on the back foot, there are political compulsions, there are strategic compulsions, and I think it is only to be expected that they would escalate the war. They would escalate it to a point, where they would start trying to push back the Ukrainian side. So, frankly, if they are now targeting the Ukrainian capital, it doesn't come as a surprise. Now, I don't know these explosions which have happened, whether these are missile strikes, these are some kind of other non-conventional kind of tactics which have been used. I'm not aware of that. But it doesn't surprise me that, the Russians are going to up the ante. Maybe, and maybe I'm just shooting my mouth off on this, but there is a hope that once this escalation starts, there will be an incentive on both sides to come back to the table and try and at least have some kind of an uneasy peace or ceasefire agreement and then maybe negotiations. But like I said, I think that's a bit of a long shot as of now. But for now, we are likely to see an escalation in hostilities from the Russian side and a pushback from Ukraine and its backers in the West is also going to happen. So brace yourself for greater turmoil in the world markets, brace yourself for greater bloodshed in this war theater. It's not looking very good for now.
And Mr. Sareen, it's been about 8 months or so since Russia actually invaded Ukraine. They definitely didn't think it would last this long, that Ukraine would actually be able to hold out for this long. The global pressure is definitely mounting on Russia, but that does not seem to deter Putin. That perhaps is only adding to the frustration, which unfortunately is being taken out on the civilians of Ukraine.
Yeah, look, any war, the civilians do get caught up in it. That's one of the unfortunate aspects of all wars. But the thing is that, wars burn themselves out when one side runs out of ammunition. Now, if the Ukrainians were on their own and they were not receiving the kind of backing they are getting from the West, plus the fact that the Ukrainians on their own have put up a very good fight, they're not giving in. So with both those factors, plus the factor that the Russians, are no spring chickens. They have a very advanced, war industry. They have a very advanced military machine. So when you put these two things together, this kind of a war does not end, like most wars in the subcontinent and other places where 15, 20 days, 21 days, everything is over. You run out of ammunition, you run out of, material to fight the war, and then you sue for peace, or some kind of a ceasefire agreement is worked out. In the West, these kind of wars end up as proxy wars. What is happening in Ukraine is now a war between one great power, Russia, versus the other great powers in the West. And the Ukrainians are fighting that war, as perhaps they should, because it's their sovereignty and their territorial integrity that is at stake, that has been challenged by the Russians. But at the end of the day, this war is limited to Ukrainians. And as long as they are willing to fight and as long as they keep getting the war material from the West, this war is not ending anytime soon.
Also, Mr. Sareen, we've just got fresh visuals of this entire explosion. We are putting that out for our viewers, for them to view it. We've also heard that this is actually a visual on the right side of the screen that we are playing out for everyone. This has been taken by a passerby from his car, and we can see that this is pretty much a civilian area. So there could be many dead because of these attacks.
Yeah, like I said, that's the really unfortunate part of any war, the civilian casualties. And very often we've seen when these kind of wars take place, civilians are kind of fair game. They're fair game because, you target civilians to pressure the other side into backing down. It's a terrible travesty. It's a terrible tragedy. But that is why wars are not very good things. And I think what is happening now is that, there'll be denials from that, no, we were not that deliberately targeting civilians. But, all sides have done it. The Americans have done it in their wars. They have always claimed that, it was by mistake, it was collateral damage and what have you. But civilian casualties are pretty much, in fact, one good thing about India-Pakistan wars have been that, there have been a scrupulous avoidance of targeting civilians or even, normal infrastructure, unless it's critical infrastructure which has some bearing on the war machineries of either country. You avoid targeting civilian infrastructure. You don't target civilians. At least the previous wars have been very gentlemanly between India and Pakistan.
Right.
But in the Western world, you don't see that level of civilization. And as Mahatma Gandhi, when he was asked, what do you think of Western civilization? He said, I think it will be a good idea. But I suppose that is what we are seeing right now in what's happening in the Ukraine-Russia theater.
Right. Mr. Sushant Sareen, thank you so much for joining us. So we have been talking about these multiple explosions in Ukraine's capital city of Kiev. And we're also being told by the Ukrainian media that the advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine has said that one of the rockets fell right next to Vladimir Putin's SBU office. So that is something that also was part of this attack. We will also ascertain more details as and when we have them. Meanwhile, we're slipping into a very, very short break, but not without letting you know about the nominees for the Indian of the Year in the entertainment category. You can watch this entire grand finale live on October 12th. That is this Wednesday from 6 p.m. onwards, only on CNN News 18.
BJP was quick to hit out at the AIMIM chief. Amit Malviya, the IT cell chief of the BJP, said in a tweet that BJP does not want to erase Tipu's legacy. On the contrary, it wants to show its true legacy. Malviya further added that Tipu was a barbarian who oppressed and tortured Hindus and Christians. Politics has erupted over the Mahakal corridor in Madhya Pradesh. Congress has claimed that the budget of 300 crore rupees was allocated for the beautification of the city by the former Kamalnath government. Remember, the first phase of the Mahakal corridor, which was built at the cost of 856 crore rupees, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on the 11th of October. Amid the ongoing debate regarding population imbalance, AIMIM chief Assaduddin Owaisi has lashed out at RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Owaisi added that the population of Muslims isn't increasing but falling because of their use of condoms.
टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट वो 2% हो गया, माने इंडिया का फर्टिलिटी रेट बहुत ज्यादा गिरा। और सबसे ज्यादा अगर टीएफआर रेट गिरा, मुसलमानों का गिरा। सबसे ज्यादा कॉन्डोम कौन इस्तेमाल कर रहा? नहीं, ये बताने के लिए हम इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। मोहन भागवत इस पर नहीं बोलेंगे।
After Election Commission froze the Shiv Sena logo and forbade both factions from using it, Uddhav's faction hit back at the EC, calling the action unjust and stating that the EC is working on the same lines as the CBI. He said that the logo has been frozen long back by their faction.
7 तारीख को हम लोगों ने 4 बजे उनको सारे कागजात दे दिए थे। उनके आपस में संवाद अच्छे ठीक नहीं थे, इसके लिए उनको पता ही नहीं चला कि हमने दे दिए। अब सुनवाई कुछ भी नहीं हुई, निर्णय ले गया और निर्णय लेकर उन्होंने हमारा जो चुनाव चिन्ह है उसको फ्रीज कर दिया। क्यों नहीं करेंगे? क्लेम करेंगे, हम करेंगे, लेकिन ये कब होगा? जब जांच होगी तब। ये चुनाव आयोग भी उसमें ही गया जिसमें सीबीआई, ईडी हो, जो हम लोग लाइन में, उसी लाइन में चुनाव आयोग।
Congress's presidential candidate Shashi Tharoor has expressed the need for reinstating strength in the party to gain voters. He said that the Congress has to run the country nicely, also adding that the BJP should prepare themselves to sit in the opposition in 2024.
परिवर्तन हमारे पार्टी में चाहिए और ये परिवर्तन ले आने वाला मैं सोचता हूं कि मैं हूं परिवर्तन की उम्मीदवार। बदलाव के लिए मैं खड़ा हूं, तो मैं मांग रहा हूं आप सब लोग के समर्थन। ये मैं डेलीगेट्स को कह रहा हूं, तो मैं आपके सामने ये पेश कर रहा हूं।
Haryana Home Minister Anil Vij has hit out at AIMIM chief Asudin Owaisi for his comment on declining Muslim population in India. Vij rebutted and said that population should further drop down and hum do hamare do should be followed.
AIMIM के चीफ असदुद्दीन ओवैसी जी ने कहा है कि हिंदुस्तान में मुसलमानों की आबादी गिर रही है। अगर गिर रही है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, परंतु इसको और गिराओ और इसको हम दो हमारे दो तक लाओ।
Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the solar village in Modera in Gujarat. Modera has been declared India's first renewable energy village. Prime Minister is on a 3-day visit to election-bound Gujarat, where he will be inaugurating development projects over 14,500 crore rupees.
मोढेरा के लिए विकास की नई ऊर्जा का संचार हुआ है। बिजली, पानी से लेकर रोड, रेल तक कौशल विकास और स्वास्थ्य से जुड़े अनेक प्रोजेक्ट्स का आज लोकार्पण और शिलान्यास हुआ है।
Prime Minister Modi visited Modera Surya Mandir and inaugurated the Light and Sound Show. He also attended and watched the glimpses of the spectacular Light and Sound Show, which will be open for the general public from tomorrow. Gujarat's Modera is India's first solar-powered village, and the Light and Sound Show will be powered by solar energy. Delhi Minister Rajendra Pal Gautam resigned from the post of Social Welfare Minister after his involvement in.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Griha Atul Siddiqui. We are staying with the big story that we are tracking that is coming out of the Ukrainian capital city of Kiev, where multiple explosions have been seen. In fact, Ukrainian media has put out this information that the advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine has said that one of the rockets that hit Kiev fell on the Vladimirskaya Street, where the SBU office is located. Let me take this across to my colleague Abhishek, who's joining us on the broadcast. Abhishek, these are massive blasts. Of course, much can be said about the retaliation that probably Russia has sought after the Crimea blast.
Of course, and ever since the investigation agencies of Russia had pinpointed that there are special operation persons of Ukrainian forces behind this attack, it was anticipated that there will be certain retaliatory action from the Russian military on Ukrainian side. And today morning, when probably people were least expecting any fall of missiles or rockets or bombs from the Ukrainian side, they were very much trying to lead their normal life. There was a traffic jam because this was the normal office hour, morning around 8 a.m. At least two blasts have been reported that hit the central city of Kyiv. And there are reports that there are multiple fatalities and injuries possible because the time chosen for the blast was very much in sync with the people who would be actively on streets. Probably that has led to the multiple casualties. And so far, there has not been any much of report from the Ukrainian authorities, but we know that at least two blasts have hit the city of Ukraine. There are reports of smoke, cars being damaged, fire all around. and then, of course, there are injuries and fatalities, and yet to be ascertained how many numbers could be in that.
All right, just to review this for our viewers, 2 blasts, that's what we can talk about at the moment that have happened in the capital city of Kiev in Ukraine. We yet do not have the figures or the kind of fatalities that this possibly has led to. You know, Abhishek, we were also talking about this retaliation by Russia. The fact that Russia has insisted amply right after the Kerch Bridge attack that Ukraine is resorting to terrorism. These are the words that are coming out of the Russian media. And also the fact that Kiev was fighting to take the strategic eastern town of Bakhmut. That was also something that was said after the Crimea blasts. Just put it to perspective for our viewers now that very soon after those blasts do we see explosions right in the capital city, in the center, in the heart of Ukraine.
Of course, there was always this anticipation ever since that Crimea bridge attack had happened that the Russian military would surely try to avenge that attack to polish the dent it has got in the in its strength, and probably this is, and once the investigative agencies were out with their reports that there are terrorist activities, this whole incident is tantamount to some terrorist activity, and special Ukrainian forces were involved, and they were the mastermind of this attack. It was clearly palpable that there would be some Russian military action, but the attack on Ukrainian capital city of Kyiv is something that was probably not being anticipated because it is clearly a very highly aggressive and escalatory stance from Russian side, and it has come after months of gap that Russia has literally attacked the capital city of Kyiv, of Ukraine.
Right. Abhishek, stay on with us. I'm also now joined by our colleague Sanjay Suri. Sanjay, the fact that at the UNGCA, United Nations General Council, what we have heard is that India has abstained from voting against Russia time and again. However, there's ample pressure that has been put forth by the United States of America and other allies, not just in India, but also in Pakistan now to vote against Russia. What happens now? This is a very, very extreme step that has been taken. Something like Abhishek was mentioning was not anticipated at all. We're talking about Kiev here.
Well, after this Crimea bridge blast, it was very clear that Russia is going to retaliate and retaliate strongly. And this is only the beginning. It's very likely that the Russians will hit back even harder over the days to come. And this kind of reaction is going to feed upon itself, and this is now escalating. Clearly, Kiev has been a target, even though it has not been in Russian sights for some time. It has been a target. Well, this is the seat of the government. This is where Putin would like to, launch his bombs and rockets. It was here that when the United Nations Secretary General was visiting, that Russia attacked with missiles while he was visiting, and that was to make a point that Russia is not going to bow down and is going to keep up its attack, which it calls, of course, as you know, a special military operation. So, and we know that Putin has said that all the Western analysts and experts are sitting in Kyiv directing the war. He has said after the Crimea bridge blast that it is Ukrainian special services and secret services that have been behind the blast. That taken together with his statement earlier that Western experts are sitting in Kyiv directing the action against Russia, this would make Kyiv a target, and we are very likely to see more such attacks to come in Kyiv and at other places. And of course, we had more in Zaporizhia, as we've been having just about every day for several days now.
Yes, absolutely. Sanjay and Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we are tracking this big development that's coming out of Ukraine as the capital city has seen multiple blasts right there in Kiev, very, very close to Volodymyr Zelensky's office. Now, we will track all the developments pertaining to this same story. However, slipping into a very short break at the moment and coming right back with all the news and updates.
और 2014 में जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने 14 के चुनाव के लिए मुझे प्रधानमंत्री पद के लिए आशीर्वाद दिए तो मैंने विपक्ष में भी जो लोग थे जिनसे मेरा पहले से परिचय था, ऐसे कुछ महानुभावों को जो देश के वरिष्ठ राजनेता थे, राजनीतिक रूप से हमारे विरोधी थे, लेकिन उन सबको फोन करके आशीर्वाद लेने का मैंने एक उपक्रम किया था। और मुझे याद है उस दिन मुलायम सिंह जी का वो आशीर्वाद, कुछ सलाह के 2 शब्द, वो आज भी मेरी अमानत है। और मुलायम सिंह जी की विशेषता रही कि 2013 में मुझे उन्होंने जो आशीर्वाद दिया था, उसमें कभी भी उतार चढ़ाव नहीं आने दिया। घोर राजनीतिक विरोधी बातें के बीच भी जब 2019 में पार्लियामेंट का आखिरी सत्र था, पिछली लोकसभा का, और संसद के अंदर मुलायम सिंह जी जैसे वरिष्ठ नेता, उन्होंने खड़े होकर के पार्लियामेंट में जो बात बताई थी, वही देश के किसी भी राजनीतिक कार्यकर्ता के जीवन में बहुत बड़ा आशीर्वाद होता है। उन्होंने संसद में खड़े होकर के कहा था, कोई लाग लगापेट के बिना कहा था, राजनीतिक आटा पाटा के खेल के बिना कहा था। उन्होंने कहा था, मोदी जी सबको साथ लेकर के चलते हैं, और इसलिए मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि वो 2019 में फिर से चुन करके देश के प्रधानमंत्री बनेंगे। कितना बड़ा दिल होगा जो मुझे जब तक जीवित रहे, जब भी मौका मिला, उनके आशीर्वाद मिलते रहे। मैं आज आदरणीय मुलायम सिंह जी को गुजरात की इस धरती से, मां नर्मदा के तट से, उनको आदरपूर्वक भावभीनी श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उनके परिवार, उनके समर्थकों को ये दुख सहने की शक्ति दे। साथियों, आज इस बार मैं ऐसे समय में भरूच आया हूं जब देश आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है। जब भी हम भारत के इतिहास को पढ़ते हैं और भविष्य की बात करते हैं, तो भरूच की चर्चा हमेशा गर्व के साथ होती है। इसी धरती ने ऐसी अनेकों संतानों को जन्म दिया है जिन्होंने अपने काम से देश का गौरव बढ़ाया है। जैसे हमारे धरती पुत्र कन्हैयालाल माणेकलाल मुंशी जी, संविधान निर्माण में देश अनेक योगदान को उनको कभी भी भूल नहीं सकता है। सोमनाथ के मंदिर के भव्य निर्माण में सरदार के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर के चलने वाले मुंशी साहब की भूमिका को कोई भूल नहीं सकता है। इतना ही नहीं, भारतीय संगीत के सिरमौर, उसको बुलंदी देने वाले पंडित रोमनाथ ठाकुर, उनका नाता भी तो इसी मिट्टी से रहा है। ऐसे महान व्यक्तियों के काम से प्रेरणा लेकर हम गुजरात का गौरव बढ़ाने और गुजरात को विकसित बनाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। भाइयों और बहनों, गुजरात की देश की प्रगति में, चाहे वो गुजरात की प्रगति हो, चाहे देश की प्रगति हो, भरूच का योगदान बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। भरूचनी भागीदारी एक जमानो હતો આપણું ભરૂચ ખાલી ખારી સિંગને કારણે ઓળખાતું હતું।
symbol. They have accused Uddhav Thackeray of having lost his Hindutva plank, now the party and the symbol.
सुना है बारामती में पटाखे फोड़े जा रहे हैं, दिवाली मनाई जा रही है और इसे ही कहते हैं दोस्ती का नाटक करते हुए पीठ में खोपा गया खंजीर, या उद्धव जी की भाषा में गद्दारी।
उद्धव ठाकरे जी की शिवसेना ने सब खो दिया। पहले हिंदुत्व, फिर सरकार, उसके बाद में सिंबल, अब नाम भी गया। और सबसे महत्व की बात कि महाराष्ट्र की जनता का विश्वास भी उद्धव ठाकरे की शिवसेना ने खो दिया।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a 3-day tour to the northeast and he visited the Kamakya temple in Assam's Guwahati, sought the blessings of goddess Kamakya. He was accompanied by the Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma. He also visited the Golaghat district to inaugurate the 2-day conference of the Superintendents of Police at the Police Training College. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman slammed Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao after he renamed his party from TRS to BRS. She alleged that the name was changed due to belief in occult practices. She further added that KCR stopped going to the Secretariat or inducting women for many years in his cabinet based on advice given by his tantric. Telangana Education Minister hit back at the Finance Minister, saying there were 2 women ministers in the KCR cabinet for the last 3 years. KCR Cabinet Minister further added that it's embarrassing on part of the Finance Minister that she is not informed on basic information. Telangana BJP President joined in hitting out at KCR. He added that KCR has been performing tantric pujas for few years now and it was a tantric who instructed him to change the name of the party to prevent losing elections. After the railways changed the name of Tipu Express to Wadiyar Express, AIMIM chief has attacked the central government by tweeting that Tipu Sultan irks the BJP because he waged 3 wars against his British masters. He further added that another train could have been named after the Wadiyars. BJP will never be able to erase Tipu's legacy, he said, as he was scared that Britishers even scare them now. BJP was quick to hit out at the AIMIM chief. Amit Malviya, the IT cell chief of the BJP, said in a tweet that BJP does not want to erase Tipu's legacy. On the contrary, it wants to show its true legacy. Malviya further added that Tipu was a barbarian who oppressed and tortured Hindus and Christians. Politics has erupted over the Mahakal corridor in Madhya Pradesh. Congress has claimed that the budget of 300 crore rupees was allocated for the beautification of the city by the former Kamalnath government. Remember, the first phase of the Mahakal corridor, which was built at the cost of 856 crore rupees, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on the 11th of October. Amid the ongoing debate regarding population imbalance, AIMIM chief Assaduddin Owaisi has lashed out at RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Owaisi added that the population of Muslims isn't increasing but falling because of their use of condoms.
टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट वो 2% हो गया, माने इंडिया का फर्टिलिटी रेट बहुत ज्यादा गिरा। और सबसे ज्यादा अगर टीएफआर रेट गिरा मुसलमानों का गिरा। सबसे ज्यादा कॉन्डोम कौन इस्तेमाल कर रहा? नहीं, ये बताने के लिए हम इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। मोहन भागवत इस पर नहीं बोलेंगे।
After Election Commission froze the Shiv Sena logo and forbade both factions from using it, Uddhav's faction hit back at the EC, calling the action unjust and stating that the EC is working on the same lines as the CBI. He said that the logo has been frozen long back by their faction.
Welcome back. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Griha. Let's begin the top of 11 with top of 12, I beg your pardon, with some breaking news that we are getting on the broadcast. And this is to do with the Aam Aadmi Party. And we are told that as per sources, the Aam Aadmi Party is unlikely to take any action against Gopal Italia. In fact, Aam Aadmi Party Gujarat wing will be holding a press conference soon on this. My colleague Rupashri now joins me on the broadcast. Rupashri, no action on Gopal. However, now that the NCW and others have taken cognizance of what has happened, he really using those comments against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this matter is only going to escalate.
Yes, this matter is definitely going to escalate with the BJP, gunning for the Aam Aadmi Party, especially in Gujarat. Remember, the BJP does not take it very lightly when comments are made against the Prime Minister, and even politically, it has not suited any political party to make such remarks. However, we are learning from our sources that as of now, Aam Aadmi Party is not very likely to take any action against Gopal Italia. Aam Aadmi Party sources also point out that many BJP leaders have made many nasty comments about Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal, using similar language and similar words. And the party hopes that in Gujarat it is not going to turn into an issue. So that is what the calculation within the party is. We expect the Gujarat unit to be holding a press conference soon and clarifying its stand. And it remains to be seen how far the Aam Aadmi Party can carry this line forward, and whether the BJP can really capitalize on this issue and make it a talking point amongst the people in Gujarat, because finally it will be the response of the people to the comment and to the party, which will ultimately define its stand. So it is a work in progress now. But as of now, the Aam Aadmi Party is not going to take any knee-jerk reaction and take any action against Gopal Italia.
But Rupashri, have they really come out and responded to what he has said?
We have to wait.
Rupashri, just hang on there for a minute. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Let's actually listen into the reaction that's coming, and then we'll come back to you.
मुझे आप सब लोगों से जानना है कि क्या भूतकाल में कभी भी किसी भी बड़ा प्रधान ने ऐसा नौटंकी किया है वोट देने जाने के लिए। का आदमी यहाँ पे रोड शो कर रहा है और दिखा रहा है कि कैसे मैं पूरे देश को सी बना रहा हूँ। सी फॉर, समझ लीजिएगा, मैं कैसे इस पूरे भारत देश को सी बना रहा हूँ। मैं बात करता हूँ डिजिटल इंडिया की और खुद दिल्ली से दौड़ा दौड़ा यहाँ पे वोट देने आता हूँ। देखिए मैं आप लोगों को कैसे सी बनाता हूँ। तो ये का आदमी हमें ये संदेश दे रहा है कि मैं पूरे देश को सी बना रहा हूँ।
All limits have been crossed. The Gujarat Aam Aadmi Party chief Gopal Italia has used the most objectionable language for the Prime Minister when he said that the Prime Minister is. This is not only an abuse to the Prime Minister and to the position of the Prime Minister and the constitutional position, but it is also a casteist slur that is being made at the Prime Minister who comes from the OBC community. This kind of language only reflects the true character, chal, charitra, chehra of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Shahzad Poonawala is joining us on the broadcast live. Shahzad, thank you so much for joining us on CNN News 18. We are learning that so far there is not going to be any action against Gopal Italia.
You see, this is the Chal Charitra Chehra of the Aam Aadmi Party, whether it's Rajendra Gautam, who was abusing Hindus and Hindu deities and was participating in that program, or whether it's Gopal Italia. And in the words used by Gopal Italia, he's not just abusing the PM or the PM's OBC Samaj from which he comes, but is also using a word which is very misogynistic if you hear the entire video. There's another video of Gopal Italia where he's abusing Hindus who go to a katha using very objectionable words I can't even repeat. Now, either this is not a sayog, this is a prayog of Mr. Kejriwal, where he's getting these people to make these statements for a certain political purpose, and then after that he's not taking any action on them, because neither has Rajendra Pal been sacked from the party, nor has Italia been sacked from the party. So it seems that these words may come out from the mouths of Gopal and Rajendra, but the author and the mastermind behind these words is Kejriwal. So these words should be considered to be Kejriwal's words, and I'm sure the people of Gujarat and the people of India will consider these words, and Kejriwal's words will be considered before he's given a resounding and befitting reply in the elections to come.
Right, and Shahzan, I totally agree with you. The fact that he is the Aam Aadmi Party state unit chief in Gujarat, this doesn't really befit his office. There needs to be a decorum in discourse, and of course, there has to be a responsibility in using and choosing the words that you're putting out in public domain. And there needs to be a strong-handed action. If the Aam Aadmi Party chooses not to go ahead and do it, that eventually means that they are supporting what he's saying, which is absolutely shoddy.
Absolutely, but why are we surprised? This is a party whose chief minister has used objectionable language for the prime minister's position. You remember that tweet, coward and psychopath. You remember that these are the people who have gone on to say the most objectionable things against Hindus. There's a tweet of Mr. Kejriwal where he is showing a swastik sign being beaten up by the Jadu. There is also a fact that Mr. Kejriwal laughed at the plight of Kashmiri Hindus. So this is their DNA, just like the Congress used to abuse and insult Hindus, abuse the Prime Minister's position, has used all kinds of foul language for the Prime Minister and his parents and his personage. Now the Aam Aadmi Party, which looks to replace the Congress completely, is cut from the same DNA, it's cut from the same cloth of appeasement politics, and therefore they are using the exact same strategy, whether it's abusing Hindus or abusing the post of the Prime Minister. But in doing so, they have even abused and used misogynistic words. Now it's from Mr. Kejriwal to say that does he endorse them? Is this his words, or will he sack these two people from his party?
Right, Shahzad, thank you so much. And of course, it is going to be considered an endorsement if the Aam Aadmi Party chief, Arvind Kejriwal, doesn't go ahead and take any action. Rupashri continues to be with us on the broadcast. Rupashri, you heard what the BJP had to say. Is there a response really that's coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party? Right now, we know that they are probably, through sources that you've been talking to us about, that they are not willing to take any action. However, this is not going to go down well in how things are panned at the moment.
Well, as I tried to explain before, the Aam Aadmi Party sources that I'm speaking to actually believe that a lot of similar comments have also made against Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, the chief minister referred to these comments and actually used various words which are clearly objectionable, which actually have been used against him. But finally, everything is going to depend on how it is being received by the Aam Janta or the people of Gujarat. Now, if the Aam Aadmi Party feels or gets a sense that this comment is not is adversely affecting them, then maybe it's going to change its mind. But as of now, it does not have that sort of a reading of the situation on the ground. And we are told that Aam Aadmi Party unit in Gujarat is going to have a press conference.
Right.
And in that press conference, actually, we expect more details or
yes, absolutely. And Rupashri, you know what is being projected out there is that Mr. Gopal Italia is a repeat offender. He has done these things in the past as well. He has been known to shoot from his mouth. So there needs to be something that needs to be done about it. And like I mentioned, NCW also calling his remarks misogynistic. So it is not just about BJP accusing the Aam Aadmi Party. Even the National Conference for Women have really gone ahead and taken cognizance of what Mr. Gopal Italia has said. In fact, Rupashri, let's leave it at that. We're getting some more breaking news at the moment. Now we are told that Rajendra Pal Gautam has stood defiant, and he has said that he has no communication from the party whether his resignation has been accepted or not. Now he goes on to say, and I quote him here, if I ever have to choose between the party and being an Ambedkarite, I'll choose the latter. A party is a very small thing for me. This is the word that has been put out by Mr. Gautam. I believe Rupashri continues to be with me. Rupashri, you know, word there by Rajendra Pal Gautam.
What was
जो रेजिग्नेशन आया, इवन दो इट वाज एंटिसिपेटेड, फिर भी सभी के मन में है क्या कि क्या पार्टी ने आपको फोर्स किया रिजाइन करने के लिए?
नहीं, मुझे किसी ने कोई फोर्स नहीं किया, लेकिन मैं इस बात से जरूर आहत था कि एक तरफ हमारे समाज के लोगों की मूंछ रखने पर, मंदिर प्रवेश पर, मूर्ति छू लेने पर, घड़ा छू लेने पर हत्या हो रही है, और दूसरी तरफ घोड़ी पर बारात निकालने पर हमारे समाज के आईपीएस ऑफिसर को धमकी दी जा रही है। पत्नी आईएफएस है, पति आईपीएस है, उसको घोड़ी पर बारात निकालने पर धमकी दी जा रही है। फिर आम आदमी का क्या होगा? वो बहन बेटियों के साथ बलात्कार करके जिस तरह उनको फांसी पे लटकाया जा रहा है, इससे एक तरफ तो मैं इससे आहत हूं कि कोई भी देश का प्रधानमंत्री, गृह मंत्री और अन्य नेता इन मुद्दों पे चुप्पी साध लेता है। मतलब हमारे समाज के साथ रोज रोज उत्पीड़न की घटनाएं होती है और कोई बोलता नहीं है। साथ ही साथ धन्यवाद बीजेपी को इसलिए भी करूंगा कि जिस लड़ाई को मैं बचपन से लड़ता आया कि हमारे लोगों को हिंदू नहीं समझा जाता, हमारे लोगों को अछूत, शूद्र, आदिवासी समझा जाता है, हमारे लोगों पर रोज आए दिन उत्पीड़न होता है, ये वर्ण व्यवस्था और जातिवाद चला के इंसानों ने बनाई है, ये खत्म होनी चाहिए, लेकिन कोई इस पर ध्यान नहीं दे रहा था।
And my colleague Rupashri continues to be with us. Rupashri, we just heard that interview that you've taken with Mr. Rajendra Gautam. He is defiant. He's sticking by his stand.
Well, absolutely. Have to understand is that Mr. Rajendra Gautam is actually an Ambedkarite. And he's a practicing Buddhist, and very soon he has told us that he's going to make that official also, and he's extremely committed to that that political thought. Rajendra Gautam does not believe that he has committed any sin by being present over there, and he has pointed out that many BJP ministers from Maharashtra also make it a point to be at Diksha Bhumi in Nagpur when the ceremony takes place every year. He has also pointed out that Government of India itself publishes articles and books where these oaths are also repeated, and it is nothing new. Crores and lakhs of people have taken it through all these years. But the reason he said that to us in that interview that he put in his papers is because he does not want his party or the leader of his party to face any adverse impact because of what he calls a misinterpretation by the BJP and trying to portray whatever has happened in a completely different line from what he had actually originally thought. He in that interview to us has also told us that if it ever comes to a point where he has to choose between staying within the Aam Aadmi Party or being an Ambedkarite, he would definitely choose the latter without any regret. So of all entire political career, 54 years, but more than 30 years he has spent in being an Ambedkarite. So he is not at all deterred by whatever has happened to him or whatever is happening around him. However, the Aam Aadmi Party actually feels that because he is a minister, he perhaps should have been more cautious about his own presence in a conversion ceremony, and especially at a time when elections are there in multiple states where the Aam Aadmi Party has high stakes, especially in Gujarat, and therefore he has tendered his resignation. We are just waiting for a confirmation on whether his resignation has been accepted or not. Mr. Gautam told us that there is no confirmation whether his resignation has been accepted or not, but he is taking it as if it has already been accepted, and he's telling.
Rupashri, stay on with me. I'm also joined by our colleague Anshul, who is with us live on the broadcast. Anshul, we also have been told that ever since Mr. Pal decided to go ahead and give some interviews to various news channels, he was asked not to do that by the party high command, by the Aam Aadmi Party, till they deliberate on how they are wanting to go about this entire controversy.
So yes, that's right. The Aam Aadmi Party has been continuously on the damage control mode, as Rupashri rightly reported on that day when this video went viral. Rupashri rightly reported that Arvind Kejriwal was also very disappointed with the kind of situation that has arisen right before the Gujarat election. On one hand, the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to portray itself as an alternative to the BJP in Gujarat, and when situation like these arises, these actually give a lot of fodder to the Bharatiya Janata Party, where they can actually go ahead and turn this into a huge shift of vote that could actually happen. And that is the reason why we saw that none of the senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party came out to defend the statements that were made in that viral video, where people were seeing actually converting from Hinduism to Buddhism. And that is the reason why that even after the resignation that has come yesterday of Rajendra Pal Gautam, the BJP and the right-wing organizations are in no mood to let go of this situation as of now. They are making sure that their voices, they make the right noises, and making sure that the message goes across that Arvind Kejriwal is not doing enough for Hindus in Delhi and in the entire country as well. And that is the reason why we are seeing that they are continuously building pressure on the Aam Aadmi Party to take stringent action against this MLA and make sure that he is shunned out of the party. And even in his resignation letter, the wording of that letter has also the wording of that letter, the objection has been also raised on that as well, where he has written that it was the BJP who actually propagated the message in a wrong manner, and that is why people got hurt, and he did not want to hurt people. But yes, the sentiment on the ground is that people were actually very angry on that viral video. So it now remains to be seen in this damage control mode, how does Aam Aadmi Party finally take down the pressure that is being built on them, not only by the BJP as of now, but also other right-wing organizations who are actually demanding not only his arrest, but also he should be shunted out from the party.
Anshul, and the fact that we're looking at Gujarat, and that's what Aam Aadmi Party is eyeing at the moment, this is not going to augur down well for the party, especially in the state. However, we also know how Arvind Kejriwal was extremely displaced ever since that first video came out against Mr. Gautam. However, how do things stand at the moment is something that we are looking at. Let me take this across to Mr. Harish Khurana of the BJP, who is now joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Khurana, how do you respond, to the fact that Mr. Gautam is sticking to his stand? He is saying that he has been going to this event every year, so this is nothing new for him, and the BJP has selectively put out a video just to target him.
See, since yesterday I'm only saying that this resolution is just a political drama, nothing else. The reason behind it, since yesterday Indupal Gautam has submitted his resignation, till now there is no communication from any end that Kejriwal, especially from the Kejriwal, that his resignation has been accepted and forwarded to Lieutenant Governor and the President of India. So because there was a lot of pressure in Gujarat by the Hinduites that some action should be taken. So this all political drama happened. But end of the day, till now, no apology from any end has been sought, whether it's Indupal Gautam or whether it's Arvind Kejriwal. Inspired.
Mr. Khurana, I am asking you about the BJP's response to what Mr. Pal Gautam has just mentioned. He has said that BJP selectively put out the video, and he has also accused the BJP of actually putting forth wrong information and projecting it as a anti-Hindu event. I want your response on that.
Have BJP asked him to go to that event in the capacity of the chief of the Minister of Delhi State? Have BJP said? BJP asked it. It was a video of one day before which video leaked out. Video came into public. It's one day before he went. So why he's saying selectively we are doing it? As an individual, he can go anywhere, but he's not an individual right now. He was a minister when he president at that point of time, and we are seeking a apology.
So, no, I want to understand how are you responding to the false propaganda charge, sir, Mr. Khurana?
I'm saying what false propaganda we are doing. Has BJP has asked to go to that place? It's not a fact that he has gone in the capacity of the minister at that time. He was a minister at that time. He was representing Delhi. He was representing the Delhi people at that time. What's the false propaganda in that?
No, Aam Aadmi Party has come out and said that they did not have any information about this event, and Mr. Pal Gautam has also mentioned that he goes to this event every year. That is the statement that has come out, sir.
See, we have not seen any video before that. And who has given, has he got the courage of saying that I'm not following the Hindu devotees, Hindu ideals, I'm also not following Hindu Muslims.
All right, Mr. Khurana, I'm really sorry I'll have to interrupt you. I have some breaking news that I have to put out for our viewers at the moment. Now, we are told the BJP leader, Shukanta Majumdar, was arrested after he was en route to Mominpur